Morning, everyone. Let me just put my video on. Okay, can we see me? Just give me the thumbs up, Eugene. Okay. Thank you so much. I thought I would give us a little bit time for people to come in because I still see that people are flooding in, which is lovely. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I just want to, let's give them a few more minutes. How many do we have? 91. I know we have over 100 people joining us today. Just let them come in, and then we will soon start. I think it's a very important month for us as women, and I would like to thank all of you for taking this morning to come and join us. I also like to thank all the gentlemen that have joined this event today, because we do want our gentlemen to understand our trials and tribulations, but also to understand the successes that we have achieved and what as women we can achieve. And I'm sure they know that already, but I think today we're just emphasizing that. I think we can start now. Is that fine, Eugene? Okay, great. All right, just a few announcements. We have our annual conference coming soon. In June, it's gonna be a lovely event, just like we had last year. So please don't forget to register. And we also looking for sponsors for that event. It will take place from the 7th to the 8th of June. It will still be a virtual conference like we did last year. You know, Corona is still with us, so we want to make sure that we are all safe. So if you have not yet registered, please do register. And if you need more information, just contact our office. There's also pre and post conference workshops that you can register for. And it's gonna prove to be a very fun and educational event. So please don't forget to join us. Some of the workshops that we're going to be going into is RPA auditing. I'm sure most of you are now looking at robotics and robotic process automation. So we're going to be sharing how you then, as an auditor, can tackle auditing that. We're also going to be looking at COVID-19. Some of you might have done this last year. We're still doing it again this year. So please make sure that you attend that, especially for those who are in assurance. We are looking for sponsors for this event. Given that it is a virtual event, the sponsorship is really not that much for most organizations. So please do take up the opportunity to be a sponsor, or for your organization to be a sponsor. From as little as 4,000 Rand to 21,000 Rand, you can be a sponsor. Please contact the office and we will we'll give you all the information you need to be able to become a sponsor. So we do have some important message from our president from the ISACA Global Organization, which I'm going to let us listen to. So I'm sure a few of you have experienced some problems with either getting your memberships or your certifications responses. There has been a bit of a backlog. I personally experienced that myself. I did log a case and it was attended to quite quickly, I might say. So if you are still having problems, please do log into the support website. If you go into your own profile, you will see where the support web link is, and you can log a case there. You just need to do one ticket. If you have multiple questions, just do one ticket and they do attend to them quite quickly, I might say. And we thank you for really being patient because it can be frustrating at times. Membership renewals are still open. I believe that they close end of March, not April. They has been extended also because of all these queries that people have been having in the backlog. So please don't forget to renew. I think you all know how to log in and renew membership, and also just don't forget to log in your CPE points, please. Today you'll be getting a whopping 4.5 for this event, so please don't forget to go and log in, because we don't automatically upload them. You have to personally go in and log. So please just apply for your designations. Don't forget, we still have also our own designations. Don't forget to apply. They are for free, but they won't be for free for forever. So if you don't know how to apply, just send an email to CAQA, CAQA@isaca.org.za, and they will be able to help you. So this is the ISAP and the ISMP, so you will know, it will give you the criteria on, you need to be either a CISA, and for the other one, you need to be a CISM, and there's also a few qualifying criteria that you need to be at. So please don't forget to do that. Time is running out. They are still free, but won't be free forever. We will be having the cyber security fundamentals course, so please log into the isaka.org website and check that out. The cybersecurity, there's some update. The new cybersecurity fundamentals exam will be available starting from 1 June this year, 2021. So it is now being updated, so but it will be available from 1 June. Don't forget to go shopping in our online shop if you're wondering what to get yourself a gift, or that gift for Mother's Day, Father's Day, or just any other day where you feel happy and you want to buy someone a gift, you want to buy yourself, your kids a lunchbox. We have all sorts of goodies in our shop, so please log in and you can purchase from there. And we charge them in rand, so it won't be that expensive. Thank you. Apologies, sorry, I don't know what I did there. Looks like I muted myself. I do apologize about that. We are going to go into the next part of our program. Eugene, can I just get an indication whether you can hear me? Because it's very quiet. This is one thing I don't like about these workshops, because can I just see a good morning from everyone? So I know that you are all there. It's too quiet. I'm not liking this.
Hey, Gabo.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good, good. Are we ready for today, guys? Can I hear some noise? Okay, let me guess. You've been muted. Come on, Eugene, let's just get everyone unmuted so that we can have Eugene. Let's have anyone unmuted, and everyone can say hello, 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 please. I just want to have some feedback here. I feel like I'm alone in a desert with lots of people.
Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so I'll start by introducing myself. I am Rpa Auditing. I am the Johannesbeck Regional Director for ISACA Chapter SA. I also am a business owner. I run my own professional services business. I also have, sorry, I believe I'm off video now. I'm also run my own NGO, which is aimed at eradicating pit toilets in our rural areas. Amongst other things, I run a wine distribution company. And these are all things that I'm very passionate about. And as you know, once you become an auditor, the bug bites you and you never leave. So I'm still pretty much an auditor at heart. So I'm gonna let our President Lynn do the opening address, and then after which I will introduce our first speaker. Eileen, I would like you to please just address people on the call, and then I will take it from there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rpa, and welcome to you. Hello, good morning. Thank you for the warm welcome and a warm welcome to everyone on the call. I see lots of familiar faces or names. Maynard, I see you. Rowan, Muhammad, Ricky, Lynn, I see all of you. Welcome. I hope you feel welcome. It's very different online than it is in person. But I think after a year of doing this, we're sort of starting to get the hang of it. So my name is Arlene Lynn Volmink. I'm the president of the ISACA South Africa chapter. And then just a little bit about me. I'm also a senior manager at Santam in the group internal audit division, looking after the IT, enterprise support, and program assurance portfolios. And then I also volunteer on the She Leads Tech International Advisory Council, and for two organizations, one being Math Moms, which is looking at grade 2 level mathematics upskilling in the community. And I also am involved in a diabetic support group in the community where I grew up. So that's me, Arlene, and I will just give a short address today. So today's theme is stay positive and live a colorful life. And I have had a very colorful morning. Murphy has been with me, Rpa, the whole morning. I don't know what's going on, but this is my backup laptop. My speech notes are gone, so I am just going to. This is off the cuff now. We are winging it, and that's how we are rolling this morning. So I hope you don't mind, but that's where we're at. So thank you everyone for your attendance today. Thank you, Rpa, for being an exciting program director. I'm looking forward to the prizes and the excitement during the morning. Thank you to our speakers, Candice, Kholofelo, and Kaylan, for being bold and putting yourself out there. Often women in tech, we don't step forward and we don't take courage and we don't take these bold steps, but you have taken a bold step today in supporting the ISACA South Africa chapter in the celebration of International Women's Day. So well done, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of thought leadership displayed in your presentations today. To the 200 or so attendees who have registered for this event, welcome. I hope you have your coffee with you and that you're sitting back and enjoying this morning. I have not even had a cup of coffee. As I say, Murphy has been here, but we'll fix that in a few moments. Yeah, I've seen it on social media, on various platforms that ISACA South Africa and other chapters across the world have been celebrating International Women's Day, as well as members and member organizations in the ISACA community. And I'm not sure if you know, but this year the theme of International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. And so it goes with an action like that. So I want to invite you to do that, choose to challenge, to pledge to choose to challenge, and to put your picture on all our social media channels, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, and join us today as we celebrate this International Women's Day. We received lots of questions in the office on whether this event is open to men, and yes, it's definitely open to men. So thank you, Robin, Kenneth, all the guys who are joining us today. It is important that we have male advocates and supporters on our journey as women. So with the She Leads Tech event, I think, as the ISACA South Africa chapter, we've been offering these events since 2016, when it was still called the Connecting Women Leaders in Technology program. It's now offered as She Leads Tech. And just a little bit about that. So last year, ISACA launched an organization or foundation alongside the ISACA brand, and this organization or foundation is called One in Tech. And the organization aims to address inequality in IT through responsive and relevant programs that are designed to address the issues around gender, race, or age. So they have 3 programs that they are promoting or running, and the first of these is Young Leaders in Tech, and that really addresses students and so forth, and I'm talking at school level. Then we have We Lead Tech, which is aimed to address minority groups who maybe have not had opportunities in the cybersecurity and other technology fields, and that really focuses on removing or addressing barriers to entry, and also advancing the profession and the pipeline of the profession. And then the She Leads Tech program, which addresses now the underrepresentation of women specifically in technology. I've been involved with this program for quite a while. As I say, from 2016 already, even though the foundation only launched last year. So I encourage you to participate in the program. Currently, I'm involved in a pilot mentorship program, and I just wanted to share with you and encourage you that there is value in mentorship. So just a personal story. My journey with technology started in 1994. Okay, don't calculate my age. But in 1994, I was at a girls' school that didn't offer computer studies. And so we had a brother school, a boys' high school in Cape Town, where they invited 3 girls from the girls' school to join the computer program. And I there started with computer studies at SACS. We were still learning to program in Turbo Pascal, and I didn't have a computer. And so my father, we were not by the means to just go out and get a computer, so we built a computer together from scratch. And that's really when my love for technology began, with my father and I messing around with computer parts and trying to put it together. So that's when my journey began, and as I say, it started with a man's influence. And then I've had many male supporters and mentors along the way. So just to name a few, Gary Hardy, who is the longest standing member of the ISACA South ISACA Chapter back in 2012, contributed to my journey. Winston Hayden, a past president of the chapter, Ken Chikwana, also past president of the chapter, and then Tich Sororo, also immediate past president of the ISACA SA chapter. And that's why I can say that, males play a very big role in terms of your journey as a woman, building a career in technology. I've also had female mentors. So currently through the ISACA CGEIT program, I have a mentor who is head of audit at a bank in Kenya. And before that, I had a mentor at Santam, our head of finance, and they've really contributed to my thinking. It doesn't matter, I think, where you are in your career journey, whether you're starting out, whether you're, at the end of your career, you as a mentee and as a mentor, there's so much that you get out of a mentorship relationship. So I just wanted to encourage you to find a mentor or to be a mentor, because there's real value in that. What else did I want to say? As a chapter, I think just in reflection, we've got 3 office employees, 2 out of the 3 are women. As a chapter, we've got a woman president. We've got 3 directors, including Kabo and myself. Of the 13 directors who are women, we have 36% of our membership who are women, and that's out of about 2,516 members across the country. So we are trying to do our part. There's more we can always do, and I just want to encourage you to be involved with the chapter, to contribute, to take hold of these volunteer opportunities. It's exciting, and we're all about positive change. So so that's what I just wanted to share today as an opening. Let's enjoy the day. Please be interactive and participate as much as you can in this event. And again, well done to our speakers for stepping forward. And I'm sure that Kabo will keep you excited through the morning. So let me go have my coffee, Kabo. I think it's back to you.
Okay, thanks, Aline. I do apologize for your bad sound. Mine is not bad, right? I know that today some stuff ate your...
I think it's raining. Maybe the weather has something to do with it.
Oh, you know what? It's the cold. There's a cold front coming, so it's just a warning. But be careful. You guys have been enjoying good weather lately. Sorry, now we've taken the good weather. We'll bring it back some other time. Thanks, Aline, for that address. And I think, like you said, as women, we wing it. With the many roles that we play in this society, sometimes that's why you have to do what you have to do, as long as the task is completed. I think the very important thing that you mentioned, Aline, is the support by men. I didn't have my father growing up, but I can tell you the influence for me to join the computer science world was from the magazines that my father used to, the newsletter from his job before he passed on. They kept on sending them to us, and I saw this man in white, those lab coats, and they were working on these machines that looked like, in my head then, I was still very, very, very young, they looked like typewriters, but they had a screen. I think my love for computer science was more influenced by the fact that I hated typing, and I really was bad at it, and so bad that I failed. Yes, I failed typing at some stage. I don't know, I just didn't understand why I was being made to type but not look at what I was typing. So when I saw the computer, I absolutely loved it. So that was somehow, indirectly influenced by the newsletter I used to get from my father's old employer, but also pretty much by the lack of useless things that sometimes we get to be taught. We're gonna, so sorry, I did forget to go through our house rules. So you're gonna keep everyone on mute. So, and we please ask you to remain as such. We have over almost 119 participants. So we want to make sure that we have a smooth running. Also, the videos will be kept off except for the people who are talking, but also if you are talking and your bandwidth is not so great, you can please just switch off the video after you've shown your face. We are going to run a poll. We're gonna have lots of prizes, so stay awake because we're just gonna throw them at you while you're not looking, so don't miss out. I'm gonna ask Eugene to run our first poll, but I'm gonna keep the prizes as a surprise. Just know that if we do have a competition and there's a winner, we will have a surprise. So we'll just randomly be doing competition. So that I love the surprise aspect, and so that we make sure that we are there. Okay, so can everyone see the poll? We just want to know this morning before we start where you are coming from. Are you from South Africa, other parts of Africa, other parts of the world? We know that these days we are all over the world. And also, tell us where you are joining us this morning. Are you working from home? Are you working from your office? Are you on leave but had serious FOMO and had just to join us? Or are you joining us from bed? It's okay. We know this is that time where you can just sit in bed and still be productive. So please do respond. Okay, I'm gonna give it a minute for this poll to run, and don't be shy. There's 2, 3. Okay, we're getting there. Come on, let's respond. Let's respond. Okay. Interesting. No one is in bed. Guys, we can't see you, so it's fine. No one would know it's you because the polls don't say who you are, so you can be honest. Other parts of the world, okay, we've got 2 people from Africa and 2 people from other parts of the world. If you can just maybe put in the chat if you are from other parts of the world where you are joining us from, and those from the continent Africa, where you joining? Okay, 3 people. The majority is South Africans working from home. That's understandable, and there are a few of us that are in the office. I do tell you there are days where I miss the office. Oh, see, there is that one very, very honest person who is lying in bed, having coffee and joining us. Lovely. So we are sitting at about 70% of the poll, and we have 15 seconds left. So it appears that the majority of us are in South Africa. So at 2 minutes, we will end the call. There is Lovina from Mauritius. Oh my God, I am so envious. Yeah, we are coming there to Mauritius soon. As soon as we feel safe, we will be there. Who else? Trudy. I know, I feel you. Yes, yeah. I love South Africa, but I think I need air from outside of South Africa. It's been a while. It's been a long while. For some of us who love traveling. Okay, so the result of our poll stands as follows. We have 72 of us coming from South Africa, 87%. I have 6% respondents from other parts of Africa, 6%, which is 5, and then 7 people coming, joining us from other parts of the world. And 2 very lucky people are joining us from bed. Wow. And there's 2 of us who are on leave or holiday but didn't want to miss out. Abidjan. Okay, I'm not even going to try and meta your name. Is it Abidan or Abidjan chapter? Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let's just see in the chats. Okay, so is Parimala or Parimala, sorry if I am getting your name wrong, from Mauritius. And other parts of the world, who is joining us from where? Okay, so we are going to then go on to our next, Mapetleke from Lesotho. Dumelang me, lovely for you to join us. So we are going to close the poll and we're going to go into the next part of the meeting. So those are the results of the poll. If I don't know if you can see them. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing our next speaker, who is Candice Jackson. Candice is a senior managing consultant at Mobius Consulting and with over 9 years of experience in IT consulting. Her core areas of experience include privacy, third-party risk management, and she has assisted several clients with practically implementing both disciplines from across various industries. She's also a young mother who demonstrates how women can achieve a successful career with an equally wonderful personal life as a mother, as a wife, and as a daughter. Candice today will be talking to us about the softer things in life, how you can survive this STEM world. I know most ladies, especially the young ones, when they get into motherhood, they struggle. So Candice will share her story, and perhaps I'm sure most of us will be able to associate with what she's going to be telling us. Candice, I'm gonna give it over to you, my dear.
Thanks so much, Khabo, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to our presentation today, and really just our theme to stay positive and live a colorful life. If we look at just a quote that really resonates with me, it's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent that survive. It's the one that are most adaptable to change. And for me, this just resonates because in this digital world and moving in this transformation and this evolution, if you aren't adaptable to change, you're going to get left behind. And, there's different characteristics that we need. There's different support that we need along this journey. And it's all the things that I'm going to touch on today. So thanks, Khabo, for the introduction. Just again, I'm Candice Jackson. I'm a senior managing consultant in Mobius Consulting, and really passionate about digital technology and really around privacy and third-party risk management. So I'll touch a little bit about my journey. Things that I'm going to cover today is how we perceive the world and how in some instances this world may still exist. I'm going to then go on to a little bit of my technical journey, some of the role models that I've found throughout my journey, especially through technology, as well as then touch on some of those challenges in a digital world. I think, we've mentioned it throughout, you'll hear about it that, women face different challenges, and sometimes it's not only women, but obviously it's all about us today. So men, I'm not picking on you in any way, but it really is just to highlight some of those challenges that we do face, and then how to overcome them, or things that I've gone through in my personal aspect to really overcome some of these challenges. And then looking at what reality is and having that support structure, having those role models, having a company that really believes in having women as being leaders as well, and at the forefront of any new topics that really uncover. So those are the things that I'm going to be unpacking today. And if we look at the first one that we go through, it's how we perceive things. And I don't know how many of you have seen this image before. It could be reality for some of us. It could be partially true, and then it could be completely not true. And again, this is not to say that men don't have their own obstacles, but when you look at a woman, there's house chores, there's cooking, there's cleaning, there's babies at home, and they're still trying to make sure that you can achieve the successful career doing what you love. And for me, I have really found this. And I think it's, I have to take my hat off to our managing director, who is a male, Patrick Ryan, who really has believed in women and put women out there and given us these leadership roles to really take the company to where we believe it can go to. So while we perceive this as being some of the challenges, and you can have home challenges and you can have work challenges, I think, having those support functions, having those people who motivate you, who put you out there, really does drive you and really does add to the support that you get. So we may perceive this, and some women may feel like, okay, this is really me right now. But I think I'm going to give you some tips on how you can put some of those and take some of those obstacles away and really achieve things that you want to do, things that you're passionate about, and really feeling confident that you can do it. Not doing it by yourself, by all means, but definitely making sure that you have that community and that support around you. So just a little bit about my journey. I obviously, when I grew up, I think became quite passionate about technology from an early age. I remember winning awards for technology quite in my early ages, where it was just where we had computer classes, but I took an interest in it from there. And obviously decided to do a BCom IT management, not something that was common, I think, in my family or even for women at that particular time, but it was something that interested me and I thoroughly enjoyed my studies. But I think also growing up, I had this role model of a working mother and who, was at the forefront of also maybe not technology, but in the banking industry, was at this forefront and really, she was a successful career woman. She was there for her family. And for me, it showed me that you can achieve both. You don't have to let go of the one to not get the other. So she was a successful career woman and, she loved her family. She was always there for us. So that for me, I think started filling me that to say, I can do both. I can be this career woman and then have a family eventually. So went through my studying career, obviously was still at home, had the support of my family throughout that journey. And then I started working. And through my working career, I then, started identifying different individuals, which became role models. And when I moved to Mobius Consulting, I would say I really found my feet and really found what I'm passionate about. And it started with third-party risk management, but through another mentor, which I found in my life, which was Rolene Hull, was privacy. And, through Rolene, she really pushed me, really to achieve new heights. And this just shows you how women in your life can support you and can really just give you the guidance. And, it was Rolene and I started in our earlier days as colleagues, and then she moved on, and then we parted ways. And when we came back together, it was somebody that, really pushed me to be, Candice, you can achieve this, you can do this. And that was where my love for privacy reignited. And, I really just enjoying it thoroughly. And a lot of people will be like, privacy, like really, it's compliance. Are you sure? But just being with Rolene and the practical side that she brings to it, it really encouraged me even more. And that's where we started talking about it. And I think if, we've spoken at many ISACA events, if you listen to the topic and you listen to when we talk, you can hear the passion comes out. And that's why it's, staying relevant and really being at the forefront of it. And I think with POPIA coming up and not taking from any of our presentations coming up later today, it's now upcoming, it's at the forefront of everything. Everybody's talking about it. So, that's where, that passion grew. And then if I look at a bit of a different role model, it's another woman who works with us, and that's Sandhya Mohan Pillay. And for me, she is a career woman, and really, she's a director at Mobius Consulting within our Johannesbeck office, and she has a family as well. And for me, I can resonate with her because she's so successful at what she does. She really leads the company in such an amazing way. But then she goes home and she has a family with boys at home. And, for me, it shows that, okay, I can achieve this and I can do it. So how Arlene mentioned is, have those role models, have those mentors. Even if it is sometimes informal, these ladies have really groomed me along my journey. And I think through watching them, to see how they operate, to see how they discuss things with clients, ignites my passion even more and just shows that, I can be successful at what I do. I can be a career woman. I can enjoy my passion and not feel bad about it. And then I can be a wife, and I can be a mother, and I can be successful at both things. And I think for me, those women being my mother, Rolene and Sandhya, they've really taught me that I can achieve this and that there's no harm in it. I know a lot of the times we feel bad at times. You've got to work late. You've got to do something and you can't. And I think that's where I'll touch on a little bit later, that support that you get from your family, from your spouse, from the people at work that really help you along this journey. If I look at, for me, if I look at technology, and if you just look at how this world is going and digitizing even more, if we take something as if I was a little girl, it would be maybe writing letters to my school friends, and that would be my way of communication, because you talk, but you want to write your secret down, and that's how you share it with them. And you see how that evolves, and then it went maybe to SMSs, because now you had a Nokia 6210, and that's how you communicated, was really just SMSs. And then phones started getting a bit smarter, and people, they started developing apps. And I remember the first big one was Mixit. And you could change your name, and you could invite people, and you could start chatting on Mixit. And that obviously went for a while. And then BlackBerry came out with their BBM service, and that was like the next big thing. And I remember even with my husband, that was the way that we started communicating, was through BBM. And now if you look at where WhatsApp is, WhatsApp has, you can do everything. You can make bookings via things. You can really run your business through WhatsApp if you needed to. Banking associations are now going through and, you can contact us via WhatsApp. So you don't have to email, you don't have to phone us, you can now do WhatsApp. So for me, that's something that's changed, but it's something that's it resonates, I think, with all of us here, is because we're all using a form of communication. I think WhatsApp is the most common one that we all use. But if you just look at that journey of communication, things are changing. And again, if I go back to my quote, you have to be adaptable to this change. And if you are adaptable to this change, you'll go along the journey so easy, so comfortably. Yes, you're going to have mishaps. Yes, you're going to have a few challenges every now and then, but it's not about being afraid of those challenges. It's about accepting them and, maybe getting a bit of support along the way. So if I can say that's my technology journey, and where I'm at is really just my passion for privacy, my passion for third-party risk management, and really just helping clients while still remaining a successful mother, if I can call it that, a successful wife, and then being able to run my own household. So that would be my technology journey. I do see the chat functionality going off. I think I'll take questions a little bit later, just when we have our question slot, if that's okay with everyone.
No, it's fine. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll point out the questions when you are done.
Thanks, Hubble. So then moving on to this digital world that, we are in, I don't think there's avoiding this digital world. There's artificial intelligence, robotics, cybersecurity, privacy, cloud. There's so many of these different terminologies going on, and, it's an evolving world, and you have to transform with it. I think today's testament alone that we have two beautiful ladies who are going to be talking to us about privacy and about POPIA, as well as about cloud. Now, generally, what you would find is that that's a man's topic. You'd shy away from it, you wouldn't. And, it's really to encourage women out there don't shy away from it. If you are that SME within that space, talk about it, share your knowledge, go into a meeting and stand tall, knowing that, you know what, I've got this. I know my content, I know my topics, I know that I can talk about it. And it's really to show that this digital world is happening and women are a part of it. And it's good to see. And again, it doesn't come without the support. It doesn't come without the leadership. Again, if I talk about Pat, he's always challenging us for new ideas. How do we do this? Strategizing. So for me, he's a big support in saying, I can do this, and don't shy away from it. And I believe in you to run this meeting, or I believe in you to go and present or to represent the company. Just having that as support in the digital world will make a whole lot of difference. Even for topics that you're uncertain about. DevSecOps, I think it still baffles me quite a lot of the times, but it's not about, okay, Candice, because you're a woman, you can't understand it, or you can't take it to the next level. I'll explain it to you. I'll give you a simple explanation. And then once you get it, take it forward, take it on, and then you share it with somebody else, read up on it. So this digital world is all about, I think, staying relevant and then being confident to say that, okay, I can understand it. I can become an expert in it, and then I can go consult on it. I can give assurance on it. I can go present on it. I can write a white paper about it. So it really is taking this digital world understanding what it's all about, and then taking it to the next level. But with that said, I know that this digital world also has a lot of challenges. And just challenges from it not only being the topics that come up, but I think the funny parts also. So you're on mute. Shh. Well, that was my child. And I think the last one is really me. I think I've been on a number of calls where I can hear the screaming in the background or the noise in the background, and I've just got to be sorry, that was my child. So on Teams, on Zoom, and I'm sure so many of us have hilarious stories to tell about, just being on all these virtual calls. Now, while the world was moving in that direction a while ago, I think COVID obviously forced us to go into it a lot quicker, but we were moving into that digital world of using all of these communication channels a lot more. So not going into every single client, but using these to maybe I'll either sit at my client and I'll dial into another meeting, either via Skype, via Teams, via Zoom. Now we're just using these platforms a lot more because we were forced to do it. But that first one is really a funny one to say, it's a challenge. It's things that we go through, or the garden service is going off, or, you have someone walking behind you and you're actually on a call and you're like, what's going on? So we have those challenges. The other thing with this digital world is there's a lot going on. And sometimes you can really find yourself being overwhelmed. If I look at it, I can have a few clients and I've got so many meetings during the day. And I'm a green person, so I'm a feelings person. So I like to find out how the team is doing as well. But then I also know I've got some internal stuff that I also need to do. And in the background, my child is starting school. So you can see that in this digital world, where things used to be a bit more segmented and departmentalized when things were not in this digital world. You didn't have your phone and your laptop and everything to connect. Things were maybe a bit slower, but with this digital world, there's just a lot going on. And you can often find yourself feeling overwhelmed, feeling stressed, feeling like, am I actually going to cope with this? Am I actually going to make it? And I think as a woman, and I think even more specifically as a mother, we put this pressure on ourselves to be like, I'm not doing enough. And you take it and you're so hard on yourself because you want to be successful, you want to do everything to the best of your ability and to 200%, and you want to do it at work as well and as at home. And that's that a lot going on. And then relying on people. So, we have had a lot of juniors start with us straight out of varsity. So yes, they have their backing of their degrees or their honors. And now we're putting them in and they've just got to go into this digital world as well without having any physical interaction with them to say, this is how you do certain things. And, for me, seeing a person and talking to them face to face, yes, we can put our cameras on, but it's always different to just sit with somebody. So you have to rely on people that you haven't fully equipped to go into this complete digital world. Yes, they've also had to take online classes and things like that, but now starting a new world in this working career. And now they've had to go into it with like just meeting people virtually. And a lot of the times not cameras on. So they go in. Or Khabo, like you mentioned, you don't like having, just silence on a call or anything like that. Yet it's things that happen, things that you go through, and relying on people that don't talk or may not give you a hello or just give you enough to say that, there's something there. And then my last point is just confidence. I often still will feel if I walk into a room where it's full of males, I'm presenting as the SME and they're even older males, the confidence goes down. So it may not happen for all of us, but I know for me, it does still happen. And it's a challenge, and even more of a challenge now where you look at the names and you can see, okay, that's a guy, that's a guy, that's a guy. Oh, I don't know. And now you present on something and then you go, are there any questions? And then just complete silence. So your confidence does take a little bit of a knock. And I mean, when new topics come out, you may be relying on international references, which males have also written the white papers or anything leading. So again, as a woman, your confidence takes a little bit of a knock there. And it's then to go on to, don't let this digital world scare you. It may seem frightening, it may seem uncertain at times, but don't shy away from it. And I think for me, the ladies out there, to the ladies listening today, is build a team to support you. So if I look at, again, looking at Mobius Consulting, I have a team to support me. Now, having this team doesn't just mean having people under you, but it means, you know, empowering the next person. Again, something that Arlene spoke about, you know, you become that, you have a role model, but also become that mentor, become that role model. So the two of those points, build a team and find a role model. So find somebody that you aspire to be like, or, you know, you've got a connection with somebody. They may not be in technology specifically, but they are leading in their career. You know, they're a successful career woman. They have a household, or even if they're on their own, or if they're still with family, they are still, you know, having to do multiple things within their life. So firstly, build that team to support you, to be there, to help you when things are becoming too much and you have too much going on. As much as all of us would love to be superwoman and really take on all the challenges, I think having a team just takes some of that pressure off. And I know it's something that I have. And then, like I said, find that role model. So find your moms out there, find your Roleens out there, find your Sandias out there who are role models to you. And while you may not, even if you don't want to specifically go and ask them, okay, give me some guidance. How do you do this? How do you do that? You can see how they operate, but don't feel shy. I mean, as women, we need to be there to support each other. And sometimes finding a role model doesn't mean only a woman. Find your Patrick Ryans out there who are there to, you know, really encourage and empower ladies to be the best that they can be. Finding a role model and this mentor really just puts you in a position to say, guys, I'm not sure. And sometimes you need that confident boost. You need that person to just be like, Candice, you can do this. Candice, I believe in you. Sometimes just those words are words of encouragement to say, okay, fine, I may have doubted myself, but this person tells me that I can do it. This person believes that I can do it. So support each other and have people, and you support other people. So if you can see a woman in your company, or a lady out in varsity that you know is striving to become somebody that's successful in their career, to be a woman in a digital world, find her and help support her. I know we often have mentorship programs that we run and internships where there's obviously a combination of people. And I think a lot of companies have that. And sometimes it's about, you know, the ladies out there will shy away a little bit, but reach out, especially the more quiet ones, the ones that aren't confident, the ones that you can see, okay, this person needs my help. This person needs some encouragement. This person needs me to show them that I believe in them. And you can really take, you know, just by getting support from somebody else, you can support another person in their career and just in their journey, whether they're in varsity at the moment, whether they're starting off in their career, whether they've changed careers or they're going on to their next opportunity within their career. Really find that person and help guide them to the next journey. And then stay confident. When you walk into a room and you know your topic and you know what you're talking about, stay confident. Believe in yourself. If you're coming across males in a room, don't shy away because you are the SME. So take your confidence and really just stand by it and stay positive. Don't doubt yourself, even though it's very easy to do it and it's easier said than done. But if you really believe that, you know, I know this, I can do this, I can take it to the next level. And obviously it goes with knowing your topic and knowing what you're talking about, and that's just staying relevant. So I don't like reading books. I'll be very honest. My husband started reading and he's trying to encourage me, or I feel encouraged by him, but I haven't gotten there yet. But I find myself staying relevant by reading journals and articles and writing my next certification. So if you know your topic and you're passionate about your topic, you stay relevant, and that just leads to your confidence. So I know I've spoken a lot to our ladies to, you know, just to encourage them, some of the challenges that, you know, you may be feeling that I've shared already with you. But I want to now reach out to some of our guys out there, the males on the line, and run our next poll, which is really to look at, you know, those of you who have partners or who have our wives out there, or even your girlfriend. How do you support the women in your life to achieve being a successful working woman? So they don't have to be in a technology field, they don't have to be in a digital transformation, but how do you men out there support your women? So do you help with chores around the house? So washing the dishes or packing the dishwasher, helping with supper, you have kids at home and you're the one helping with homework, or you just take the pressure off and you drop off and do pickups from school, or you are just that that support structure that just does all of the above things. So we'll give it about another 30 seconds just for our guys out there. And even if it's not your partner, it's not your wife, maybe you're still at home and you're helping your mom out there and she's still working, anybody that you're supporting, what are some of those things that you're doing just to help out to make sure that those people or that lady in your life can achieve what they want to? Seeing a lot of people, all of our guys are really just being superstars and doing all of the above. So that is really cool to see. I can vouch for my husband, who does, I think, all of the above, maybe not the supper full, but he definitely helps out. I've broken my finger recently, so he's really been helping out at home with all the chores and helps me to really be a successful career woman. So I think, he is one that can tick that last box of doing all of the above. Okay, so if we look at it, and there's our results. So 17% just helping out with chores around the house. I see 7% helping out with dinner. So well done to you guys. And then 5% helping with kids and their homework. I know that can honestly be so stressful at times. So taking that load off is a lot. Then the drop-offs and pickups from school, it takes time out of your day as well, but it helps us to carry on with meetings, or like this morning, dropping our daughter off for school so I could prep for the presentation, or just doing all of the above. I think this for me goes into, what reality is. And thanks, Eugene, for those results. If we look at what reality is that where roles used to be, women would do everything, and they would be at home and they would do chores and look after children. To be a woman in a digital world for me means getting the support. I can honestly say that I have support of an entire village. I have the support of my husband, who helps out with anything that I can ask him for, be it my daughter, be it cleaning up, be it dishes, be it make a toasted sandwich for supper. He's there to do those type of things. I then have my village at work, who I have supporting me along the journey, who are encouraging me to always go out and be the best and to really enjoy my passion and write the next certification, even though I feel like it's stressed at times. But those people are only challenging me to accept the things that I know I can get to all the people and all colleagues that I work with, who are often supporting me on various projects. That's what it means to be this woman in a digital world. Yes, it's about the technology. Yes, it's about the transformation. Yes, it's all of these things going on. But without the village behind me, I know I wouldn't be able to achieve it. And I know a lot of successful career women out there wouldn't be able to achieve it either, because whether you're at varsity and you're staying at home, you have the support of your family. Even if you may be on res, you have the support of friends or people that live with you. If you are just getting married, so you don't have kids anymore, you've got the support of your husband or your partner. To then having children, you have the support of extended family, and then your internal support. And I think find the organizations out there that support and believe in you as a woman to be the best that you can be. No matter you're talking about cloud or privacy or cyber or AI or robotics, to believe in you that you honestly can do all things possible, and that you can be the lead. I mean, if we look at our Google lead designer is a woman. So sometimes you don't have to find your local people. You could aspire to be somebody from an international. but you can see that these people all have families to support them, or they have the support structure from a work perspective. And for me, if I have to look back, to be a woman in a digital world, it's to have the support of everybody I have around me. So I'm going to take some questions now. I know our chat, we've got some. Khabo, do you wanna flag some for me that we should be answering?
Yes, there is a question from Andrea Alexandra from all the way from Romania. Candice, thank you for the presentation. What approach would you take to increase the self-confidence in a situation where the team you are working with is composed of only men and they are generally never or few times supportive, especially if you are several years younger than them?
So that's
that's you, Candice.
Great question. And I think if I look back when I started in my previous company, I was young, and I always used to get teased, I think even among our friends, for being the youngest. And I worked dominantly with men. And I think it's really, if you believe that you are right, and yes, sometimes we are wrong, and yes, I'm a woman and I'm admitting that sometimes we are wrong, but if you believe that you are confident in something. So let's take, there was an instance, and I'm going to use privacy because it's close to my heart. And we get a question, and I know that, I've read the act, I've read international regulations, I've done my research, I've gone and done extra research. It's about going and saying, listen, this is the solution, and I believe by the solution. This is the answer. Sometimes you have to, I hate that to say that we would have to, and even listening to some webinars in the past, sometimes we have to pull somebody that we're comfortable with liaising with and say, listen, this is it. And I've noticed it happening a few times that I can't get through to this person. I can't get through to these stakeholders. Please, can you help me? Because you may find yourself giving an idea and complete silence. And a few minutes later, somebody else, a guy, gives the same idea and everybody's keen for it. And you find yourself sometimes in that position. He's just said it maybe in a different way, maybe with more authority. You have to take the chance and you have to take the lead. I'm a person that hates confrontation, so I'm definitely not going to do it in front of all of them. But I'm going to say, guys, this is what I believe, and not shying away from what you believe. And then maybe post it, going to somebody who is a little bit more senior to say, listen, this is my idea, or this is my solution. I've noticed this happening a few times. I believe that this is the right way. Have the conversation. Often we like, okay, the guy said it, so it's right. Don't break your confidence. Always believe in yourself. Always say that I know this is right, and I know this is. If I look at Raleen, and she's probably going to kill me for using her name so much today, but we often will talk about these things where we've given an answer, and somebody older who is a male will be like saying it in a different way, but coming across. Raleen never shies down from just stepping up and being like, guys, this is it. This is the answer. This is the wording. Sometimes we've done it before and we've kicked ourselves in the foot because, we were saying those things and we've discussed those things, and now somebody else has gone and said it. So it's really about just believing in yourself and, double check your facts, triple check your facts. Phone a friend if you need to bounce your idea off if you don't want to go immediately in with your answer or your solution. But then saying when you are confident is just to say, this is what I believe the answer or the solution is, because you'll hear as soon as you have this voice, people will want to listen to you, regardless of working in a male dominant environment or only with men. You'll find that once you have that voice and they see your solution, they will know that, Candice Jackson has a voice and she's not afraid to show it. And that's the best advice that I could give on that one.
Okay, thanks, Candice. I hope that answered your question, Andrea. Yes, okay, thank you. I think Rachel Chinyoka says, loving the presentation, absolutely agree with having a mentor, especially in the same career path and role model. Confidence is also boosted when you work on your craft and become the best at it. Concentrate on mastering your craft, you become hard to ignore. I think I totally agree with that, Rachel. It's always important to educate yourself. And Candice, you said you don't like reading. Reading a journal is reading, by the way. So it doesn't have to be a book.
Book yeah, it's not for me yet. I'm trying to get there. Hopefully soon.
I think it's very typical of people of us in IT or in technology. We don't usually like to read the books because our minds work so fast. You are forever, thinking, and therefore sitting and reading one book forever is not our thing. I have found over the years, the only time I really read was a time when I lived in a foreign country and I had to travel by train. I managed to go through Long Walk to Freedom, and trust me, if you can go through that very thick book, then you're okay. But I agree with you. Lately, I do read a lot of the journals. I actually do a lot of look at at a lot of videos because I'm a visual person. If I see it, then I'll remember it. And there's a whole lot of information, and you just need to know how to get the right information. It can be overwhelming, but I think most importantly is that if you are interested in something, in a subject, it will give you the confidence if you take the time to go and do the work, research, read, watch videos and ask, people. And I think having a mentor is very important. I think Arlene also started with that, in your career, it doesn't matter whether you are starting out or, you are late in your career. The most successful people have mentors, even in your old age. And remember, mentorship is a two-way street. You learn from your mentee, if you're a mentor, and that mentee learns from you. So it's always a two-way street. I do agree, Candice, that you have to have a mentor in your life. And I just want to also encourage all the men attending today, please feel free to share with us on the chat to what extent you support your partner in her career. We'll cut off the chat at 10:20. I think it's quite interesting to see that we have 68% of the men in this chat, in this who responded, saying that they help out the women in their lives. And I think keep up the good work. It has become more difficult for us as women during the pandemic because we are now suddenly there, and little Bali and John and Esther just want to come in whenever they want to come in. And there is really nothing wrong with showing the human side of us because quite often we dump the kids at school, we go to school to work, and then we look different. And then you get back home, then you have to get into your aprons and all that. I think you said something very important, Candice, is the support system is very important. Support at the workplace, as well as support at home and your community. There's the old adage that goes, it takes a community to raise a child. It's very true. And it doesn't matter where that community is. It could be the community at work. It could be the community at home. Being one of those people that just like to pack my bags and go to wherever part of the world I feel like going to live in, I have realized that, it doesn't necessarily have to be, people who are your family. It could be the community around you. Having lived in foreign country, I know I made lots of friends from all parts of the world, and they were my support structure. So it's very important to have that support structure all the time. I saw that Tabi, so Mashima was saying she was very scared because she had to breastfeed and work from home. I think many of us can relate to that. Sanjika did say she could relate. I personally can relate. My second child was born while I was working from home full time, about 12. Yeah, he turned 12 yesterday, 12 years ago. And it was the best time of my life because I could actually raise my child and be able to be present at work. So, I always say, the balance is about where you are in your life. And I'm sure, Candice, you will agree. When you were younger, you didn't have any responsibilities of a husband and kids. You can then look after your career. But then as you become a parent, that balancing scale changes, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with now focusing on your kids because that's where you are in your life. Balancing doesn't mean everything has to be all the same. It just means what is important in your life right now. And you must know that, because if you know that, then you'll make the right choices. And don't be, you don't apologize for that. Don't apologize for, looking after your children. One day they are going to leave the house and you will regret. So give everything its time when it's time for you to give the time to that particular point in your life. Patrick, thank you very much for the lovely work you're doing with Candice and the team at Mobius. I think you probably you could share a few things with us, but I always say, if you support your team will flourish. As a leader, you need to lead. There's a lot of leaders who manage. You don't manage, you lead. And if you lead your team and give them the confidence and the voice, then you find that you have a winning team. So thank you very much, Patrick, for the support that you're giving to Candice and the other young ones at their team. I assume the directed also include the same-sex relationships. Yes, Pam, yes. The questions directed at the partners, let's say partner, not just your wife or your girlfriend or your fiance. It's the partner. How do you support the partner in your life to take care of the household? Because I think during this pandemic, it has become even more critical. We find that ladies have complained about doing the most, and men just get into the office and they work, some of them. But I've also heard quite a few positive things from the partners saying that they now spend more quality time with their kids. So thank you for that. Renata says, thank you, Candice, loved your presentation. I'm looking out for the men and the partners. If you're in the same-sex relationship, please share how you support the other people in your life. So we are gonna go on a short break. I don't know if we are okay to break now. I know we are meant to break at 10:15, but if there are any other questions, we will take them. But we are due to be breaking at 10:30. But if it's okay, we can break now. And then when we come back, we will have a little draw. Perfect. And please don't forget to share your pictures. So take a picture of yourself with the palm of your hand if you're accepting the challenge, and post it on our website, Facebook page, wherever. We want you to please share that and just tag the ISACA SA chapter.
Thanks, Amal, everyone, and have a beautiful day. And to all our women, once again, happy International Women's Day, and enjoy the month celebrating.
Okay, thanks, Candice. Eugene, I think we will go on a break, if that's okay. Aline, is that fine for us to break now? And then we can come back.
Yes,
so
it's
okay.
Perfect.
All right, so we will break for 30 minutes. So that makes us coming back to what? 10:37. No, 10:47. Yes, 10:47. Did I just, okay, let's see messages. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Let's go grab some coffee, tea. We'll resume at 10:47. Thank you so much. Going to be starting with our next slot. We did say 10:47, so I will just wait for my clock to hit 10:47 and we can start. I hope everyone is excited, ready for the next two presentations. If you haven't, please grab your coffee. It's still quite early, so let's just stick to coffee and tea for now. So we are all awake and alert for the next couple of minutes and hours. Right, so we did have I did say we're going to be running surprise competitions and challenges. So now we are going to announce the winners from our previous slot. I did confer with my board members. So we have 2 winners from the previous section. The first winner I would like to announce would be the gentleman who has been showing support to his team and mentoring young ones and making sure that they have a voice. As such, we are able to have lovely presenters such as Candice, who's been talking to us this morning. So Patrick Ryan, my old colleague, and it wasn't because he's an old colleague of mine. Please be on the lookout for your prize. The office will be in touch with you so that they can get your address to send you your prize. And I think the most important thing during these days is to be able to be honest, because most of us die in silence and we are scared to share, we are scared to ask uncomfortable questions. And I think I would like to commend Dumisho for being brave enough to and confident enough, as Candice has said, to share that, you know, her fear of working from home and breastfeeding at the same time. I'm sure some of us who have been mothers or who have been fathers with young ones, we know how that feels when you have a little one and wondering whether you're going to be is to survive. So Tumisho, Mashumo, I think is the surname, or Mashimo, if I got it wrong, apologies. You will also be getting your prize. Thank you very much. So now, like I said, there's going to be surprises. So if I ask something, participate. So just look out. I'm not going to tell you when and how we're going to be doing surprises because I want you to be alert. I need all of you to be awake and alert. I hope you've had your cup of coffee, cup of tea, water, whatever makes you alert, so that we can pay the full attention to Kaylan Petersen, who is going to be our next presenter. Kaylan, I know this is your first time. Don't worry, girl. We got you. We got you. So I am very proud. And I think this is a call to some of you who are young in their careers and thinking, oh my God, I can't do this. So I think Kaylan today is going to be a very good example that it doesn't really matter how old you are or how young you think you are in your career. You can present at forums like this and we will pay attention to you because we know you are smart and you know what you're talking about, because you've got, you know, soldiers who are right behind you, who are mentoring you and who are making sure that you guys are supporting all these young ones to come in the forefront and do presentations like this. So as the ISACA chapter, we encourage everyone, all our members, to please put their hands up if you want to be given a chance to present. We encourage you all to come through. We do go through a whole lot of dry runs. We will coach you. We'll make sure that, you know, you are comfortable on the day. So please don't be shy to come and share with us whatever topic you find is of your liking. We will look at it, and if we agree that it's relevant, we will support you. So please put your hand up, contact the office, info@isaca.org.za or admin@isaca.org.za, and we'll give you the platform to present, because this is also part of us making sure that you grow in your career. So Kaylan is currently a junior IT auditor at Santam, and she started at CPUT and obtained a BTech in internal audit. So her objectives are to understand the diversity, complexity, advances, and wider influence and impact that technology will have nationally and globally, as well as the importance of keeping abreast with technological trends. So she says that this constantly evolving, fast-paced virtual reality requires us to continue to upskill, train, and maintain a critical thinking process. I don't think I could have agreed more with Kaylan. And I think also Candice mentioned that we need to keep ourselves abreast of what is happening in our industry so that we can be better professionals in whatever services we offer to our companies or our clients. So with that, I'm going to ask Kaylan to please address our delegates. Thank you very much. Over to you, Kaylan.
Cool. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Khabo, for the amazing introduction. I would just like to thank you all for taking the time to join us at the ISACA She Leads Tech event. A special thank you to Candice for that amazing kickoff and setting the uplifting tone for the event. I'm certainly incredibly honored to be presenting alongside such strong, intelligent women. So as you were speaking, Candice, the song by James Brown played in my head. It goes something like, "This is a man's world, but it's nothing without a woman or a girl." And through different obstacles that we might face as women and women in the digital world, we are very happy to have support our male counterparts. I also especially resonated
Sorry, Kaylan.
Yes.
Kaylan, sorry to interrupt, my dear. I'm not sure if it's just me, but your sound keeps on breaking. If someone can please attend to that. Yeah. I don't know if it's just me. Can everyone hear her perfectly? It might just be my internet. Okay, sorry. Kaylan, go ahead. It's probably my internet connection. Thank you, everyone, for your feedback. So go ahead, Mati. Sorry for the interruption.
Apologies, Khabo. So as I was saying, I especially resonate with you, Candice, when you mentioned that getting used to a digital working world without meeting anyone. And from my perspective, I started my new journey in the midst of lockdown, and it brought immense anxiety. There are so many fears, especially within the digital working world, just being amongst different professionals when you start in your career and just trying to adjust and simply find your feet. This can be very, very daunting. However, a huge thank you to my team for the continuous support throughout this journey. So let's get started. Apologies for the delay on my side. Hi everyone, apologies. We just experiencing a small hiccup. Thanks for your patience.
No problem, take your time.
Thanks so much, everyone. Sorry about that.
It's amazing how these things go smoothly when you do the dry run, and then on the day they give you another challenge that you haven't experienced. But
Yeah.
Thanks for your patience. We'll get there.
Thanks, Khabo. That's totally what's happening. Okay, thanks again for your patience, everyone. And with everything being said, you're probably wondering what the X-Files theme song has to do with cloud computing. Well, just like the TV series where special agents investigate unknown territory and come across seemingly unexplainable cases, with cloud computing, we may be entering a different platform, and there are a few things that require investigation before the decision is made to implement it. So, simplified, cloud computing is the delivery of different computing services, including data storage, servers, networking, databases, and software through the internet to offer faster innovation, flexible resources, and economies of scale. Let's unpack a few things of the many areas in cloud computing. A few touch points of this presentation include the evolution of cloud computing, transformation and migration, the impacts of cloud computing, benefits, cloud security. And from an audit perspective, audit objectives, risk areas, questions the board needs to be asking, and best practices. Let's quickly get into a little bit of history. Cloud computing is an evolution of technology over time. The concept of cloud computing is dated back to the 1950s, when larger scale mainframes with high volume processing power became available. As technologies improved and was able to share and deliver resources reliably, some organizations have decided to make the cloud benefits accessible to users who didn't have a great quantity of physical servers to create their own cloud computing infrastructure. Since the servers were already online, users were now able to order the cloud resources that they needed from a larger pool of available resources and could pay for these resources on a per-use basis, also known as pay-as-you-go. The pay-per-use model allows organizations and individuals to pay for the cloud computing resources only as and when they are used. This allowed organizations and individuals to move to a more cost-friendly option and also allow them to scale their workloads during usage peaks and scale down when usage subsided. So let's meet our 20th century cloud. There are a few characteristics that I would like to mention. Some of them, amongst others, on-demand self-service. This means that as an individual or an organization, you should be able to create and access services and resources whenever you need it. A customer can select the resources when they require it and with the help of a self-service portal. You can access, create, and upgrade resources and services at your convenience. Our second characteristic is broad network access, and this one is, as a customer of a cloud service, you should be able to access resources from a network at any time, at any location. This is only possible as long as you have two things. Number one, the internet access, and number two, a device that has access to a browser. The last characteristic that I would like to mention, also known as the most striking feature of cloud, is rapid elasticity. This includes resource scalability and flexibility. When there is a certain load on the servers and it exceeds its threshold, the cloud can increase its capacity automatically. With rapid elasticity in respect of scaling out, the load balancer and the entire setup detects the threshold that if a central processing unit goes over a certain number, then new servers can automatically be created. For example, if you only have 5 servers, you will now have 6, and the load will be distributed among 6 servers instead of 5. These scaling levels may be created at the user's discretion. For example, if you go over the threshold of 70% CPU usage, you create 1 more server. If 80%, your cloud creates 2 servers, and so on. You are scaling and creating new servers based on demand. When utilization demand has decreased, you may want to scale in again. In this case, whatever servers were created due to heavy utilization and upscaling will be terminated. So when we talk about cloud transformation and migration, it's not thought of as destination, but rather a continuous journey. Cloud transformation is the process of moving to the cloud. The process includes, but is not limited to, moving your IT infrastructure, software, data, and applications to the cloud. With cloud transformation, the first thing that comes to mind is, will I be moving all of these to the cloud? And it is important to properly evaluate different cloud service providers. Some of the focus areas during a service provider assessment would be ensuring the compatibility of technologies and services. You may want to ensure that the cloud service providers and technologies align with your current environment and support your organization's cloud objectives. It's also important to consider the financial position of your cloud service provider, as well as keeping abreast with whether the cloud servers have been or can be compromised. Another important aspect is crisis management, the ability for the cloud services to have provisions in place in case of a disaster. A most important and relevant topic these days is control over your data. Assess the level of control that the cloud service providers give you, and as far as possible, try to understand the type of control you have over your data with regard to where your data is stored, how your data is stored, processed, and managed. The matter of who actually owns your data is quite complicated, and the short answer is that you own the data you create, but the cloud service ultimately controls the data. This is reflected in many providers' terms of service, which state that they can hold onto the data to comply with legal regulations. In respect of POPIA, South Africa's data privacy regulation only applies to companies based in South Africa and those that process personal data within South African borders. So compliance may differ according to where exactly you are processing your data from. This includes on-premise data centers and cloud-based deployments. You have to take into consideration the type of personal data you are processing, the data subjects, whom the data belongs to, the rights of the data subjects, and the legal use for the data. It is also very important to ensure that the cloud service provider has a reliable level of data and system security. Now going into cloud migration. This is the process of transferring enterprise workloads, databases, applications, and IT processes from current infrastructure into the cloud or from one cloud into another. Let's unpack the different stages of migration. So the first stage would be planning and preparation. This step involves developing a sound business case. A business case is a document that addresses why you need to migrate in the first place. At this stage, the organization might even come up with solutions for problems in the migration process during the development of the business case. The second stage is portfolio planning. This phase involves mapping out the interdependencies between various applications and deducing a method to migrate them. A vital part of this depends on the complexity and importance of the applications themselves. The third phase is application design. Applications are focused on individually, and different methods are developed to migrate them to the cloud individually. Migration and validation. This is one of the biggest phases in migration. Usually, one of the strategies from the 6 R's is implemented to transfer the application from a traditional setup to a cloud-based one. Let's quickly unpack the 6 R's. The first R, rehost. This involves moving cloud applications from an on-premise environment to the cloud without modification. Replatform. This involves moving cloud applications almost as is, but replacing some of the components to take advantage of the cloud. Repurchase. This strategy involves decommissioning an application and replacing it with a cloud-based version. You are not moving your applications, but rather starting a new license agreement in the cloud instead of using an on-premise license. The fourth...
Sorry, Kaylan.
Yes.
Is the slide supposed to be moving? We're still on the slide with cloud transformation and migration.
We're still on that.
Yes.
Slide. Thanks. Thanks for checking in. So number 4, refactor. This strategy requires a complete refurbishment of an application to adapt it to the cloud. This strategy involves higher costs and the biggest effort and also forms the most risks. Retire, evaluating and getting rid of.
Sorry, Kaylan, sorry to interrupt. I think maybe just stop sharing and share your screen again. It seems to have frozen again on the one slide on cloud transformation and migration. And I can hear you are clicking, but we're not seeing it move.
Okay.
Or is it the correct slide?
It's a correct slide, yes. Sorry for interfering.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, cool, thanks. So lastly, retain. This strategy means keeping the application in its current environment as you are not in a position to move it to the cloud yet. So the final phase, modern operating model. This final step is very important. The performance quality of, apologies, of any cloud-based system depends on its platform. Therefore, it is critical to ensure that the cloud system you've adopted is modern and competitive. It is fairly easy to update and optimize. This is the last chance to test out and update the effectiveness of the platform before beginning the cloud operations. Gabo, just to test as it moved to the next slide, sorry.
Yes, it has. Thank you. Cloud readiness, things to consider. That's what we are seeing now.
Perfect, thank you. So taking on a move to cloud technology is a huge undertaking for any organization. So it's important to objectively identify the reasons it would be advantageous for your organizations to take on this shift. It is critical to acknowledge the change in new technologies and the effect that it would have on your organization. Let's look at a few things to consider through the cloud journey. Key business stakeholders, people, process, and technology. At the beginning of the cloud readiness assessment, you should take into consideration your key business operations stakeholders. This should be both the internal business operations stakeholders like finance, accounting, and human resources, as well as external business operations like sales, marketing, and investor operations. These all dependent on the service and industry. One of the key items for review is to show the actual benefit of cloud technology over the current solutions that the organization has in place. It's important to pitch this to each of the mentioned groups. This is where strategic goals of each section and the use for the cloud is compared and evaluated. Through performing this assessment, each group will raise their concerns with cloud, as well as how it would influence their operations and weigh it with the benefits of cloud. So the person doing the assessment would require the correct knowledge and skills to advise on solutions to these concerns. These key points will become a guideline for action plans when developing a cloud migration plan. Our people, our organization's most important resource. Your current technology staff will be one of the first areas for review in your cloud readiness assessment. So as human beings, we all have different ways of adapting to change, learning new things, and how we perform our daily work-related tasks. This review of current staff should include some high-level assessment of cloud technology skills, education, available time, and exposure to the cloud. With the constant change in technological trends, it is specifically important for organizations to equip their staff with the correct knowledge and skills of the cloud. Processes. Most technology groups will have some level of governance, compliance, and security requirements. The deployment of cloud technology will impact, if not all, of these processes, some if not all. A cloud readiness assessment helps to gain a high-level understanding of how many processes will be impacted. Once this has been established by the organization, you then need to establish how long it will take to draft and approve the critical changes required. With this assessment, it's important to note what are the needs for change and who are the process owners affected by this change. And lastly, technology. This may be the most complex part of cloud readiness. When assessing your readiness, your current technological state, including applications, infrastructure, and data, must be very well understood. A high-level review of your application portfolio is necessary for cloud readiness. This would assist in identifying a rough estimate of how many applications might be able to move to the cloud. You shouldn't only focus on how the application would move. Instead, it's very important to focus on the ability to move the application to the cloud. Some applications are at or near the end of life, and others are simply outdated utilities that need to be replaced. Thereafter, evaluation of your current infrastructure from the network layer all the way to the data center operations levels. The focus of this assessment is how you would leverage the cloud infrastructure with your on-premise infrastructure for any kind of deployment to the cloud. When making this assessment, you will need to consider the level of difficulty and how many things you need to be changed or fixed with the connectivity to the service provider. Lastly, conduct a high-level review of all your assets, from small standalone databases to large-scale data warehouses. Much like the earlier portfolio application review, this review should be focused on how many applications can be moved to the cloud. Don't only focus on the how, focus on the number of the applications that has to be moved to the cloud. Organizations are faced with different challenges when it comes to the cloud migration process. Some of the challenges are faced before and after the migration process. A few concerns that organizations are thinking about before transformation and migration into the cloud. I'll mention a few. Moving the applications to the cloud, moving their virtual machines to containers, moving their virtual machines to other virtual machines that are stored in the cloud, moving from on-premise to another cloud service model, changing their components to serverless components. Now, to mention a few of the challenges faced with pre-migration, deciding which applications to move to the cloud, poorly documented infrastructure, and unknown application dependencies. Then some of the challenges faced post-migration: combined infrastructure control, IT agility, automation, and security audit and compliance. So cloud computing has two different types of models: the deployment model and the service model. There are three main types of deployment models, namely public cloud, the private cloud, and the hybrid cloud. The public cloud is when the cloud infrastructure is available to the public over the internet. These are owned by cloud service providers. The private cloud, in this case, the cloud infrastructure is exclusively operated by a single organization which can be managed by the organization or a third party. With a hybrid cloud, this is just a combination of the functionalities of both the public and the private cloud. Okay. So let's have a look at cloud computing service models. There are three major service models available: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. As for the illustration, the areas colored green are the responsibility of the cloud service provider, and the blue is the responsibility of cloud subscribers. In comparison to on-premise models, where the organization needs to manage and maintain every component, including applications, data, virtualization, and storage, cloud computing service models are hassle-free. Infrastructure as a service is a cloud service model where users get to access the basic computing infrastructure. They are commonly used by IT administrators. If your organization requires resources such as storage or virtual machines, then infrastructure as a service would be the model for your organization. Platform as a service. This service provides cloud platforms and runtime environments for developing, testing, and managing applications. The platform as a service model allows users to deploy applications without the need to acquire, manage, or maintain the related architecture. For your organization, if your organization has a need for a platform that creates software applications, then platform as a service is the model for you. Software as a service involve cloud services for hosting and managing the organization's software applications. If your organization doesn't want to worry about the hassles of owning any IT equipment, then software as a service is the model to go with. The cloud service provider handles all components required by the organization. As illustrated in the shared responsibility model, the key to successful security implementation in the cloud environment is understanding the cloud service provider's responsibility and your responsibility as cloud subscriber in managing the risk and compliance of workloads of the data that you bring to the cloud. It's very important to choose the correct service model according to the type of data you are planning to communicate through the cloud service. Cloud computing has different impacts from different perspectives. Some of the impacted areas are also not limited to, but include business, end users, and the environment. From a business perspective, the impacts of cloud computing are faster communication, scalability, user and customer experience, reliable continuity, lower infrastructure costs, and increased market adaptability. From an end user perspective, the impact of cloud computing is improved performance, reduced software costs, instant software updates, device independence, and encourage group collaboration. Then also take into consideration a very important aspect, which is our environment. The impact of cloud computing on the environment is power conservation, reduced expenditures, carbon credit management, and energy efficient brand saving. So Eugene will now run the poll, and please share your views on which of the benefits of the cloud is most important to you. So some of the great uses of cloud computing are convenience, scalability, lower cost, security, accessibility, and enhanced customer experience. From a business perspective, a few of the benefits of cloud include: the first one would be ability to scale. Cloud computing allows businesses to scale efficiently. As businesses grow, they can expand their infrastructure and capabilities. There is no need for organizations to forecast server requirements or buy extra storage. With the cloud, organizations just have to adjust their subscription with a cloud service provider. The cloud service provider allocates more space according to the organization's storage requirements. This improves operational efficiencies. Cloud could also enable organizations to scale down, and this promotes efficient utilization of existing resources. The second one would be improved customer support. Employees can now access information that can help them serve customers at any time of the day from anywhere. Cloud connects employees to potential buyers via a number of devices, such as your mobile phones, laptops, or your desktop. Many firms now have a self-service portal as well. Self-service enables customers' concerns to be resolved faster and more efficiently. Amongst others, this may improve overall customer experience. The third one, flexible working environment. Cloud computing enables employees to work remotely, hosting virtual desktops as used to access files from anytime, anywhere. Cloud enables organizations to provide secure remote access to all its remote employees. Collaboration and communication tools are also available on the cloud. This improves flexibility and productivity of a remote workforce. Our fourth one, lowers infrastructure costs. For startup businesses, there is no longer a concern to set up servers and computers. Advancements in technology is made available at any cost. At an affordable cost, eliminating large upfront investment and maintenance costs. Cloud computing opens up avenues for innovation and disruption in all businesses. As businesses continue to expand and data grows, the cloud will provide new ways to build fast and flexible systems. Ideas will continue to emerge and change as we communicate, shop, and collaborate. Just to speak to the poll, the question was, as potential cloud server users, which benefits is the most important to you? Most of you voted to mitigate business risk, and 4% of you voted no plans to move to the cloud. Thanks for that. Thanks, Eugene. Our next section speaks to cloud security. Cloud security refers to the technologies, policies, controls, and services that protect cloud data, application, and infrastructure from threats. The most common challenges companies face with cloud security are an inadequate understanding that cloud security is a shared responsibility between the organization, which would be the customer, and the service, which would be the cloud provider when using cloud services. Organizations have the perception that, Organizations have the perception that the cloud services will provide for all security controls required upon purchase, this resulting in control gaps. Not properly evaluating and assessing the organization's readiness to mitigate to the cloud from a security, skills, and support perspective. missing the opportunity to utilize cloud security to address business requirements and compliance. Moving on to our next section of the presentation. So, with emerging technologies and continuous changes in business environments, expectations from auditors are shifting rapidly, whether it comes from regulatory bodies, clients, or stakeholders. Regulators are always looking at increased level of compliance, the quality in an audit, and its documentation. Clients and stakeholders are constantly seeking value adds and assurance of reaching their goals. Value adds and quality focuses on improving the operations of organizations and enhancing relevant assurance values. It is important for internal auditors to have a clear understanding of what the objectives of the audit includes. Organizations should also strive to align their audit objectives with the objectives of the business. Some of the audit objectives when auditing cloud computing includes providing management with an assessment of the current cloud computing policies and procedures that are in place and whether they are operating effectively. Also to identify internal controls and inefficiencies that may affect the organization. It's important to identify concerns that may affect the reliability, accuracy, and security of the enterprise-wide data due to weaknesses in the control environment. Internal audit has to understand which risk areas are most relevant to review when auditing the cloud. To mention a few under these risk areas, under data protection, an auditor has to consider physical security, authorization and authentication, and intrusion detection and protection. Under technology risks, the auditor has to understand patch management, privileged users, and server virtualization. Identity and access management. A few things under this heading would include access rights, including new access, modifications, and removals, the types of access and authorization there are, and a regular review of access. Regulatory requirements and compliance framework. These include considering POPIA, the GDPR, updated and relevant privacy laws, continuous monitoring and reporting standards. Operations include process documentation, policies and procedures, defined roles and responsibility, and service level agreements that the organization has in place. So internal audit can help the organization by performing an assessment of these risk areas and the impacts on the organization. Conducting an independent assessment of existing governance frameworks in place for cloud computing. Internal audit can also observe and provide recommendations to assist organizations in creating purposeful cloud computing governance frameworks. Assessing whether the roles and responsibilities between the organization and the cloud service provider are clearly defined. And lastly, to perform an independent assessment of cloud service providers to identify data security risks. Some of the main questions that come to mind. Will the organization's data be kept confidential when moving to the cloud? The answer among several answers are, when you store, share, or communicate data within the cloud, the data is usually in a raw, unencrypted format known as plain text, unless you have encrypted the data before the data was saved or transmitted. If you leave your data unencrypted, you will face the risk that anyone who gains access to your account can read, copy, and delete your data. This leaves your data exposed to unauthorized individuals. On the other hand, from a provider's point of view, they will provide secure storage space and impose confidentiality obligations by limiting user access to those who are authorized to view, edit, add, delete based on your data requests. What's more is they will also protect the data from accidental or purposeful authorization access by internal or external actors. It is important as an organization to consider the legal purpose of the data and why it should be stored on the cloud. Know and understand your location of where your data is hosted. The data may be subject to the laws of a forest jurisdiction. If data is stored on the cloud, how does it affect the integrity of the data? The answer, again, amongst others, is, as you would already be aware of, data integrity is one of the key aspects in information security. This means that the degree of which data is consistent, accurate, and complete over its entire life cycle. To maintain data as a business, and the cloud provider must hand in hand provide assurance. Firstly, assure the data cannot be modified by an unauthorized individual, entity, or program. Secondly, have data backup for occurrences like a power outage, database crash, storage failure in order to restore data from a backup. Have security policies in place for both logical and physical. Applied to primary and backup data must be the same. Thirdly, it's important to implement algorithms and protocols to provide maximum levels of integrity management from unauthorized access or amendments, specifically for data stored in the public cloud. Lastly, get data integrity verified through IT audit activities. It could be conducted by internal or external auditors from your side or the provider end. As the third layer of defense inside an organization, IT auditors will be assessing, validating, and testing IT-related controls as necessary to verify the consistency, accuracy, and completeness of certain static as well as dynamic data. So Eugene will run another poll and kindly share your views on which of the questions you have in mind when considering cloud computing. Other questions that the board or senior management need to be asking includes, does the organization have the necessary resources such as a management team with the appropriate leadership abilities, a workforce with the required skills, capabilities and expertise, and also financial and technological resources necessary to achieve our strategic objectives as an organization? If the organization is lacking any resources required, what will the organization be doing to obtain them? How aligned is our organization's risk appetite with its strategic choices? How knowledgeable are we as a board about technological trends? Are we personally comfortable with using technologies such as cloud computing? Do we feel that we understand the trends and impacts that cloud computing technologies are having in our industry and our organization? Also, does the business need a better understanding of digital disruption? And if so, How should we enhance our knowledge through education, sessions, engaging outside advisors or experts to review the organization's business model? And also to assist in identifying areas of opportunity or risks. When we review and approve the organization's plans and business strategies, do we give enough considerations to the impact of the technology? Thanks, Eugene. Okay, so according to the poll, this is a multiple choice question. It shows that 77% of you guys are concerned with security, which is the most important aspect. 33% are concerned with system performance and availability. 51% with legal and regulatory compliance. And another 3% has no plans to move to the cloud. And thanks, Eugene. Thanks all. And finally, just to end off, some of the recommended practices when considering cloud. It's important to consider strategic objectives and set realistic goals. Also to align IT strategic objectives, consider enterprise risks, address security concerns, develop frameworks, adhere to governance and compliance, have a business continuity plan in place, ensuring quality performance from cloud service, determining reliability of a cloud service, and creating awareness through the organization. Thank you everyone for the opportunity. And I'm thinking due to time constraints, please feel free to mail me your questions and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much. Thanks, Gabo.
Okay, thanks, Kaylan. Kaylan, we do have, I think, 1 or 2 questions. Please do continue to post your questions. We have a couple of 5 minutes to deal with questions. I think this has been a very informative session. Thank you very much. Let me put my video on. Thank you very much, Kaylan. So I think with the era of working from home, the world has really found itself catapulted into considering how do you enable your workforce to continue to function and share information, and therefore a lot of companies have now moved to the cloud to enable that. But I think, as the poll has indicated, most of the companies and most of the board members, the biggest concern is security. But I think if you live in South Africa, the even biggest concern should be making sure that you are complying with the POPIA Act, which the information regulator is going to start cracking the whip from 1 July this year. We are now in a grace period, but if your company is using the cloud, you best make sure that they are complying with all the requirements of POPIA in terms of where the information is stored, how it's stored, how it's secured, and how you're processing it, because otherwise you might find yourself in deep trouble. I'm just gonna read the question that was posed, Kaylan. Let me just have a look here. So Ntabiseng asked, how do we deal with privacy in terms of personal information of a certain organization, South African, hosted in another country that has its own privacy regulations? What privacy regulations will be implemented? Kaylan, do you want to answer that? I think probably some of the answer for this question, Ntabiseng, might actually come in our next presentation, because we are going to be touching on POPIA, because what you are asking here is very much to deal with the POPIA Act. So let's let's maybe get to the next presentation. I will keep this in mind. It might be answered there, but if it's not, then it will answer it for you. Craig also asked, would you be able to find out from the cloud provider where your data is housed, within South Africa or overseas? This affects POPIA and GDPR compliance. I think Avin did answer Craig's question. If your cloud service provider has a region here in SA and you choose the local region for your services, then your data is stored in the local region. I think once again, some of this will be answered in our next presentation, but it is important as the organization that you are very certain of where your service provider is storing your your information, because that is very important. Don't just assume that they are storing everything locally. Be certain that that is what the case is. Are there any other questions? Let me just see. Thank you, Kaylan. I think a lot of people are quite appreciative of your presentation. I think it's a very topical issue. Once again, COVID and being in the lockdown has really just pushed most of us into that space. Some organizations went in blind to just make operations function. Some already were in the cloud, but with the POPIA, there's even more requirements. So it's better to go back and re-look at your strategy and controls that you have in place to make sure that you are complying with the laws and regulations of our country and wherever it is that your data is hosted. But more importantly, that your data is secure and accessible if required. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, and then we can continue into the next session. I will be running another competition in the meantime, so please be on the lookout. So thank you, Karen. That I really enjoyed the presentation. And once again, I do apologize that we had a little bit of a glitch in the beginning, but as we said, we soldier on and we still managed to finish our slot in time. So our next speaker is Kholofelo Makula. Kholofelo is an ISACA and IIA student body president. She's also an academic tutor. She's a student at the Tshwane University of Technology, and she's enrolled for Advanced Diploma in Internal Auditing. She holds a diploma in Internal Auditing. As mentioned, she's the president of ISACA student body. In 2019, she was serving as the treasurer of the student body. She's also an academic tutor in auditing, in the auditing department at TUT. She's the member of the IISA Student Associate, and during her second year in 2018, she was awarded top 3 academic achiever. With her academic performance, she was invited to be one of the guests at the Dean's List Awards in 2019. She's looking forward to doing her articles upon completing her degree and begin with the CIA journey, and also to obtaining other certifications such as CISA. I think just as I said with Kaylan, it doesn't matter how old you are. You can be able to present at platforms like this because we appreciate and embrace diversity. And diversity also means in all spheres of life. And so please welcome Kholofelo. And Kholofelo, we are looking forward to your presentation. Please to proceed. Thank you. Please keep the questions coming on the chat. If it's not answered, if any question is not answered, then the speakers will get back to you. The details are in the chat. So if you have any specific questions you haven't had an opportunity to ask, please feel free. Kaylan has put her email address there, kaylan.petersen@santam.co.za. You can direct your questions to her. Right now, we're going to give Kholofelo an opportunity to talk to us about the importance of POPIA in the IT environment. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Khabo. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks once again to the ISACA body for granting me this opportunity to grow myself into the industry. As a final year student, I feel like this is a really great platform for me to explore and open up to different channels of the corporate world. So with no waste of time, I'd like to start with my presentation. So I will be presenting on the importance of POPIA Act in the IT environment. I'll be touching on factors that include IT environment of today, the women in IT, and generally so in the global state of the IT. The evolution of women throughout the years has brought a big change in them adding value in the world. As we know, we are from, or rather in the International Women's Month. As we celebrate women, we need to embrace and give them the platform for them to grow themselves, for them to be proud of themselves, for them to gain confidence in what they do. So this has brought us into getting the woman into the space of taking control over certain things that have to be done, or certain things that were stereotyped as women can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The stereotype is women must do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are channeling out and exploring and broadening our wings into getting involved in changing the world and adding value in the world. History, of course, tells us that many women were not involved in participating in these corporate things, as it was channeled that we should do certain things like stay at home, take care of the kids, be a wife, do this and that, of which it's something that brought us a bit down to say, we can't really explore and open up our wings and do many things that we want to do and be passionate about, do what we are passionate about. So therefore, today we can see a big difference in how women add value and how women change the world in participating in a lot of things. So throughout the years, we have seen a number of women or females that have played a role in changing the world, that have added value in changing the world, that have explored and innovated many things that even today they are of use. So that has brought a tremendous change in the world and have set a goal or a standard for our young girls and us to say it is possible for a lady or for a woman to do something that is going to add value to the world, that is going to change the world. Right now, we are at a point where we are moving into the 4th industrial revolution, whether we like it or not, whether we want to or not. But we are forced by the current situations that we are facing as the whole globe to move into the technological world, to move into the IT environment, to move into the digital world, to know how to do certain things in the digital world, rather than being in the manual past or the historical part where we deal with all the paperwork, where when you have to communicate with someone, you had to write a letter, deliver it to the post, or write a letter and deliver it yourself to the person. Right now, we are moving to the smarter ways of changing the world, smarter ways of doing things at the comfort of your own home, at the comfort of your own bed. If I'm not mistaken to mention, there is someone who is watching this from the bed. I just heard from the beginning of the presentation, when we started this event, there was someone who was actually on the bed, comfortably so, but gaining knowledge and gaining the access to reach to certain things that in our previous years, or rather in our history, it was not possible. You had to take yourself bath, and then make sure that you attend physically the event. Although this is a bit uncomfortable to us, or some of us, that we are not used to it, but it has changed a lot, and it has made a lot of things, it has made a lot of things to be easy and easily accessible. The IT environment today has grown so big that it is so amazing, and we have to like adjust and be in it and keep up with the times. Therefore, many organizations that deal with IT, many organizations that provide IT services have seen a flock of people flocking in and requiring their services even more. Therefore, this has caused them to grow bigger. This has caused them to readjust to having to deal with a large number of people that want to be involved, or rather have to change their manual way of doing things into the IT world. Every single person right now, or every single what can I say, organization has started moving into the online system of doing things, digital system of doing things, and conducting even the smallest businesses through the digital world. I can give maybe an example of when you want to buy something online. There is an app, you have to download a certain app, or rather go on internet and then purchase your product, and it will be delivered without any hassle of you having to wake up, go to the mall and purchase that product. Now things are made easy for us, and to avoid contact with other people as we are facing a pandemic as the globe. So this has made the environment of the digital world, or rather the IT environment, to grow and to explore and grow their patterns of doing things. Therefore, in such doing, in such growing, in the big world, we have to, however, look at, as the number of people increasing, or number of organizations increasing and flocking into the digital world, this raises a concern that there is an alert of a risk that can take place, or rather risks that can take place. Therefore, proper controls should be put in place in order to prevent those risks from happening, in order to manage the huge number of people and the huge number of organizations that are rushing into moving into the online or digital world, so that they can keep up with the times and feel the rush to make sure that they continue with their businesses. Therefore, proper controls are put in place. One that I can mention that was introduced in South Africa is POPIA Act. So this act is the Protection of Personal Information Act. Let's take for an example, if maybe you want to create an account with probably a Gmail account. Therefore, you need to enter certain information, or rather input certain data that will be required from you. That gives you are probably at that point where you are not sure if the end user will receive the message, or you are not assured that the end user will receive the message as it is. Therefore, the act therefore binds certain companies or certain organizations that are responsible for receiving the information from people, to say, okay, this is what must happen, and this is how it must be conducted. Therefore, we are going to protect your information. The information that you are sending to us is indeed confirmed that we have received it and we have created an account for you. That can be as an example of them asking you for a one-time PIN to show indeed that are you the user of that specific, or are you the person who is trying to create that specific account. Therefore, looking at our risks, the non-compliance of to this act, and people who are ignorant or organizations that are ignorant with this may face huge consequences, and they may find themselves being fined, or find themselves losing the market, or finding themselves losing the customers that they had, and losing the credibility and the trust from the market. Therefore, an example of this can be, I can use the recently one that has happened, which is the Facebook wanting to gain access into the WhatsApp. Therefore, a lot of people have been wondering, is my data safe? Is my private, are my private conversations that I'm chatting with people safe? Are they kept safe? Am I sure that they are not going to be disposed, or rather seen by anybody else? Therefore, that has raised a big concern to a lot of users, that their data actually might be their data, or their private information that they wouldn't want to share with anyone can be actually shared. So it has raised a big concern to the people and the users of that specific software application. Therefore, they were like, no, I'm going to cut this. I am going to move to a new software application that will ensure me that my data is protected, my information is protected, and my information is kept in confidentiality between me and the end user. Therefore, we can see by that it binds the organizations that are responsible, or rather the companies that are responsible for certain software systems, to ensure the users, or to ensure everybody else who is using that their data is protected and their data is kept in high confidentiality. Therefore, this has brought a tremendous growth in the IT environment, and a tremendous growth in the digital world, and to protect their information, because you never know who is the end user until you are assured. This has then raised the person who is responsible, or the company that is responsible for the WhatsApp app and the Facebook app, to even upgrade their privacy policies to the end-to-end encryption, which have alerted most of us. I believe most people do have WhatsApp, and most people do use WhatsApp, and they've received messages to ensure and assure them that your information will actually be kept private, and it will be between you and the end user. Therefore, that's how we moved into giving controls to the risks that may happen in the IT environment. The global state of the IT environment today has grown in a big way, that it has to adjust to certain qualities that are there. Therefore, the potential of the fourth industrial revolution technologies is set out to tackle major global challenges such as poverty, climate change, natural loss, and inequality. To this end, Forum Central for Global Public Goods is scaling efforts to practically engage stakeholders to channel fourth industrial revolution innovations towards positive social, economical, and environment outcomes through a series of inventions. Frontier 2030 is a new fourth industrial global goal platform, which aims at facilitating the application to advanced technologies to help achieve the sustainable development of the goals. The Frontier 2030 launched this year early. That is the prior year, according to the research. It provides a focal point for mobilizing a more concentrated and cooperative effort to apply advanced technologies and achievement in the global goals. Business adapting to the digital world has brought a a big change into our economy and a big change into the world. Therefore, this has that I can say and use the pandemic that has taken place, the COVID-19 pandemic, to have forced and enforced the way in which people and individual conduct their businesses and the way in which organization conduct their businesses. If I can just quote from our previous speaker, she spoke about clouds, which states that these are the cloud is now a big thing for organizations that hold database that is huge. Therefore, each and every organization is bound, or rather have to have what we call a cloud which stores information to protect it, or rather for backup. So this has made businesses to move into the online and digital world, and making sure that they adapt quickly into the states that we are given. Given the pandemic, we were all forced to move into the digital world, even though you didn't want to, even though you didn't prefer to do things online. Now we can name a number of things that we are doing online. People are learning online. Students actually are learning online. You can actually complete a whole course online, of which it was something that was there. But right now it has grown so much that the pandemic has played a role in us moving in and forcing us ourselves into that. Therefore, we have moved our businesses, even people who were selling minor things like a street vendor selling probably fed cookies. They advertise themselves online because the movement of people in the environment has decreased. Therefore, they need digital platforms to advertise and make their business to continue operating as normal. And it has happened that we advertise online and then you get your things delivered at the doorstep. Organizations have adjusted, big organizations have managed to adjust quickly into that. Therefore, this has broadened up and made us feel that and show us that the digital world is important, and we need to readjust ourselves into moving into the new world and the fourth industrial revolution growing in the now world. So making mention and in correlation of the Women's International Month, I will speak of a few women that have played a role in the IT environment. Women who have played a virtual role in the field of computer science and information technology, developing most essential components of the information technology. Just to mention a few, there's a woman that has created the first computer program, a woman that has invented computer methods and devices like your compilers, a woman that has created advancing human space exploration, a woman that develops programs that influence how today's computers work, a woman that has created programs dedicated to studying technology impact and social and ethical issues, a woman that is indeed promoting diversity throughout the IT workforce. Making mentions to those women, we are going to start with Miss Lovelace. She became the first woman to create, actually in the world, to create the first computer program, to be the first computer programmer, rather. She was born in London, and she had the passion and gift for mathematics from a young age. She created with being the world's first computer programmer, as she drafted plans for how the machine called the analytical engine could perform computations. The machine invented by her friend, mathematically an innovator. It considered to be the first general computer. Lovelace then detailed applications for the analytical engine that relate to how computers are used today. Lovelace is remembered annually on the Ada Lovelace Day, held on the second Tuesday of October. The International Day of Recognition celebrates women, science, technology, and engineering together with math streams. Moving on to the second one is Miss Grace Hooper. She's a pioneer computer programming. An American-born, was admiral in the United States Navy and a computer science, who was one of the first programmers for the Harvard Mark I computer, which was a general-purpose electromechanical computer used in the war effort for the World War II, according to the San Diego Supercomputer Center in 1994. She created 500-page manual of operations for the automatic sequence controlled calculator for the computer, which detailed the fundamental operations principles of computer machines. Hooper is also the innovator of a compiler, an intermediate program that translates English languages instructions into languages of the target computer. The invention influenced other computing developments like code optimization, subroutines, and formula translations. Hooper is then remembered at an annual Grace Hooper celebration, the world's biggest gathering of women in technology. Moving on to the woman who has played a role in the IT environment is Katherine Johnson, pardon me. She executes critical space calculation. Katherine was born in 1918 in one of the women immortalized in 2016 book and movie Hidden Figures. A West Virginia native and American mathematician, Johnson helped confirm the accuracy of electronic computer used by NASA and performed critical calculations that ensure safe space travel from the 1950s onwards. She co-authored the research report that used equations for optimal space flights in 1960, performed analysis for the first human space flight in 1961, and she ran equations on the desktop machine, calculating machine, before the 1961 Optimal mission of John Glenn. Johnson worked on calculations for project of Apollo's lunar lander, the space shuttle, and the Earth Resources Satellite in 2015. She received a Presidential Medal of Freedom. We have our next one, which is Margaret Hamilton. She takes humans to the moon. So Margaret is an American computer scientist and the system engineer from Indiana who led the software engineering division of the MIT Instrumentation Laboratory. NASA credits her with coining the term software engineering. Hamilton worked on software development for Apollo 11, the first spacecraft to complete a successful mission that placed humans on the moon in 1969. Hamilton's instances on thorough testing is credited with a mission success and safety of its astronauts. The guidance software that Hamilton helped develop for Apollo was later adopted for use in Skylab, the space shuttle, the space shuttle, and the first digital fly-by-wire system in aircraft. Hamilton received a NASA Experimental Space Act Award for technical and scientific contributions in 2003, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Eugene, if you are still there, can you kindly please show the questions? Yes, thank you. So as we go on with the presentation, I would like to get some answers up throughout the presentation.
Okay, so our next poll is what aims at facilitating the application of advanced technology to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goal?
If I can get it right, the second one can be answered at the end of the presentation, because I haven't gotten to that.
Okay.
So we can
ignore the second question. We'll get to it. So let's just go. We'll run this poll again for the second question. So let's do with the first one now. Thank you.
Should I give it time? Or I can move on with the presentation.
Yeah, you can continue with the presentation, Karabo, or we can wait. Come on, guys, only 14 people. We still have a few seconds left. So if we look at all those, factors, digital cooperation, advanced technologies, World Economic Forum, Frontier 2013, which of these do you think helps at facilitating the application of advanced technologies to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goal? Okay, we'll give it a few. Come on, it can't be 21%. Everyone, come on, wake up, wakey, come on. Oh, some people have not been out there trying to understand what's happening with our development goals, right? Okay, I think we are at 2.5 minutes. We can go ahead and close the poll.
Okay, move.
Okay, and then we can, so you can see the results. Advanced, okay, advanced technologies seem to be what most people see as
yeah, I
the most
see.
factor. Okay, yes, okay, so go ahead, Megan.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the next lady that I would like to highlight is Adele Goldberg. She developed the blueprint for graphic user interfaces. Adele developed some of the world's most notable programming languages that have influenced modern graphic users interfaces today. According to the IT History Society, born in the Cleveland, Goldberg is a computer scientist who created much of a documentation for the reflective programming language Smalltalk 80, which introduced the programming environment of overlapping windows on graphic displayed screens in 1970. She also was involved in creating influential design templates used in software designs, some of which guided the development of the Apple desktop environment. Goldberg was the president of the Association for Computing Machinery from 1984 to 1986 since 2014. Since 2014, Goldberg has been a member of the institution. We move on to Stephanie. Stephanie found software firms devoted to hiring women. Stephanie was born in Germany and is credited with advancing the essential role of women in IT and computer programming through the launch of her software firm, Freelance Programmers, now part of the Sopra Group. The firm, founded in 1962 in England, initially employed only women and only women. Shenley's bio on her TED Talk page, which has had nearly 2 million views, cites one of the firm's most notable project, the development of the black box fight recorder for the supersonic code in British passenger. Today's Shenley focuses on the philanthropy, including many projects relating to the IT through the Shenley's Foundation. She's also a public speaker and founded the Oxford Internet Institute at the University of Oxford, dedicated to studying how the internet affects social, economic, and legal and ethical issues. Megan Smith promotes the net nutrition of neutrality, and tech diversity. In 2014, Megan became the first female chief technology officer of the US and served in the White House until 2017 January. Smith, from Buffalo, New York, was a Google executive who she took the federal government role. In her position, she conceived the idea for a tech hackathon that resulted in improved protective suit for health workers fighting the Ebola virus. She also created a White House website dedicated to women in STEM and was the chief advocate for the net neutrality, coordinating key meetings that helped lead to the protection of the internet freedom. Smith is currently an advisor for the Tech Job Tours, whose mission is to connect diverse tech talent with open jobs. Tech Job Tours host events throughout the country, which include career fairs, coding, boot camps, and speed mentoring sessions, including one-on-one connection with Smith herself. Moving on to how we protect our data and what is the need for protection of our data. Mentioning one of the women in South Africa who is named Advocate Pansy Makula. She is the regulatory of the information protection in South Africa. She was then appointed in the South African National Assembly to be the regulatory of the POPIA Act. It is of importance to have information protection regulatories throughout the all nations of the globe, so that we can ensure that our information is protected, or the users' information and organizations' information is protected, and to ensure that it is kept confidential and it is between the end-to-end user, not anybody else who can easily access, but rather it is in an end-to-end encryption. So therefore, this strikes the purpose of the protection regulatories strikes to balance between the right to privacy and the need to the free flow of the access and the information, and it regulates how personal information is processed. If I can use a bit of an example there, most organizations, they go into this chain of inputting information, processing the information, and then the output of the information. Therefore, in between those three steps, there should be controls that are put in place. There should be controls that are set out to protect and rather keep the information well structured and within that specific software system or specific software application to ensure that the information will not be exposed. So part of the protection regulatories that are set out by many nations is to ensure that we give the users and the people who use certain software systems to the assurity that their information is protected, their information is kept confidential. So I'd like to play this video.
In the digital economy, data is of strategic importance. With social, economic, and governmental activities increasingly carried out online, the flow of personal data is expanding fast, raising issues related to storage and use. Current technologies, cloud services, the Internet of Things, and big data, as well as future technological innovations and increased connectivity through 5G networks, can deliver enormous benefits. But they also make it more urgent to address various concerns over data and privacy. The challenge for data protection regimes is in managing the risks and addressing the concerns without restricting or eliminating the potential benefits. The role of governments and the industry in protecting online data is of paramount importance. It must be done with a great deal of trust and confidence. This requires collaboration across stakeholders and geographies. Cross-border e-commerce presents developing countries with amazing opportunities, but those countries that want to participate in the digital economy must consider the need for legal and regulatory frameworks to protect the personal data they collect. According to the UNCTAD Global Cyber Law Tracker, around 60 developing countries do not have current baseline protection laws in place, and another 35 only have draft legislation. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development is happy to offer a platform for discussion on a vitally important subject. As industry players and consumers, as well as governments and international organizations, you will have the opportunity to present your perspectives, outline recent developments, current practices, and consider relevant frameworks. We will discuss how various challenges, including compliance, localization, and interoperability, as well as opportunities related to data protection and privacy, affect the potential for cross-border trade, especially in the context of developing countries. So let's start the dialogue. Where do we go from here? What are realistic solutions? What can we do to address concerns of various stakeholders while at the same time avoiding stifling trade and innovation? How can we make sure developing countries take full part in this global discussion and accelerate their adoption and enforcement of legal frameworks? Welcome to UNCTAD and to the expert meeting on data protection and privacy, implications for trade and development.
So in conclusion to my presentation, I'd like to outline the importance of how when we move to the digital world, as we are forced now by the COVID pandemic, that we do everything online, we have to connect online, we have to store our information online, we have to store some personal information online, that we take care, or rather be alert of what is it that I need to see, or what is it that needs to be done by that certain software system that you're using, or that certain software application that you are using, that this indeed is protecting my information, will keep my information with confidentiality, and ensure that everything else that I do will be kept within the end-to-end user. Therefore, thank you so much for the opportunity, and this is the end of my presentation. And I would like for Eugene to bring back the questions so that we can answer the last one. And then after that, I can answer the questions that.
Okay, so we are running our next poll now. We just want to see that you've been paying attention. Who was appointed as the POPIA regulator by the SA National Assembly? Okay. We are now answering question 2, which is who was appointed. Do we only, okay, I only see 2. Is it my laptop? I'm only seeing 2 options.
There are 4 options.
Okay.
Yes.
It could just be my. So can you just read the options, Karama? I mean, Kholofelo, sorry.
The options are, okay, I'll read the questions. Who was appointed as the POPI Act regulator by the SA National Assembly? Is it Grace Hooper, Margaret Hamilton, Tato Shabangu, or Pansy Takula? We'll just give it a few seconds for the answers, and then we'll reveal the results.
Okay, I want to see who's been paying attention. Okay, we have another 10 minutes. Come on, guys. How many have we got? 43. Come on, let's get going. Okay, there's 4% that says Grace Hooper, Margaret Hamilton, 3%, Tato Shabangu, 8%, and Pansy Takula, 33. No, 69% Pansy Takula, Tato Shabangu, 16%, Margaret Hamilton, 6%, and Grace Hooper, 8%. I think we are gonna close off our poll now. And okay, are we closing the poll? All right, so we can share the results. Everyone can see the result of the poll.
Yes. Most people actually got it correct.
Yes. So Advocate Pansy Takula is our information regulator. I think for those who are familiar with, you know, that this is the body that's going to be where, as data subjects, you can go and report companies that are not complying with the regulation in terms of the processing of your personal information. So it's very important to know that. And I think as organizations, we also have to know who our regulator is, because come 1 July, we will probably start seeing some movement there. So I think there were questions to you, Karabo and Kaylan. I'm going to go back and so that we can answer those. There was a question from Tavi Singh who was asking, let's see, to Candice. Where is my question? No, sorry. Okay, so the question was, how do you deal with privacy in terms of personal information of a certain organization, which is South African, hosted in another country that has its own privacy regulations? What privacy regulations will be implemented? Kholofelo, do you want to take that on?
Question, I lost a bit.
Okay, so I don't know, Kaylan, you can also answer. How do we deal with privacy in terms of personal information in a South Africa? So if you're in a South African company and you want to, how do you deal with the privacy to personal information when that information is hosted in another country that has its own privacy regulations? So what privacy regulations will be implemented?
I'd like to believe that according to the other countries' privacy regulations is how you must follow. It was what you must follow. In that specific country, depending on the organization, where is it located and where is it registered. So there, at that specific place or country is where the privacy, you should follow the privacy regulations of that specific country.
Okay, I think maybe I can just also come in there. We just recently had our own Peter Hill, who used to be our chapter president, presenting to us on the POPIA Act and its intricacies. So as far as the data flow, you need to make sure that your information is protected wherever it's sent. So you have to be able to comply with the POPIA Act because you are dealing with the information that was collected here in South Africa. So if it's going to be stored offsite, obviously the regulations of that particular area would be applicable, but equally POPIA is also applicable. So you need to make sure that the information is protected and compliance with the copy requirements. So as an ordinary person, which are referred to as data subjects, people can ask and can demand to see and understand where their data is kept and how it's being processed and how it's being secured to make sure that it's kept private. I hope that answers the question, Tabi Singh.
Also, to add a bit on that is there is what we also call a two-code verification that says if maybe you want to store your data in a different country or different place, you should get authorization rather from that specific country, also in where it is located. Let's say, for an example, if I have certain storage in South Africa and I want to store in America, I should get both from the South African and the American verification codes.
Thank you. And then, okay, the question from Craig was, would you be able to find out from the cloud provider where your data is housed within South Africa or overseas? This affects POPIA and GDPR compliance. Craig, you are quite right. It is your right to know where the cloud provider is storing information. So if as organizations you are using cloud provider, you need to make sure you know where it is that the data is stored and saved. And as the owner of the information, so if the data that you're referring to, Craig, is your personal information, you have the right to ask whoever has your information to understand where they are storing their data and how they're securing it. It is part of POPIA. It's your legal right from the Act. I don't know if let me see if they have any other questions in the chat. I have too many things open. Okay. Right. Rachel says, I see that question is similar to the GDPR issue. So if there is a company processes data on European subject, and if the same company will need to comply to POPIA, so comply to both country laws. Yes, Rachel, the GDPR and POPIA are similar in some aspects, but there are some areas where there are differences. So it's always important to understand both laws and make sure that you comply with both acts. So it's very important, because there are some people think that POPIA is derived from GDPR. It's actually the other way around. We started ours way back. We just, as usual, take our time to implement these things. But we are currently in a what do we call it? Yeah, well, grace period. Yes, that's the right word. It's a grace period until from 1 June. Then the regulator can start imposing penalties, administrative penalties, and in some instances, fines. So please, it's important that your organizations and your information officers understand the regulations and that you are ready. Right now, we should be ready for POPIA. If not, please make sure that you do get yourself ready. Are there any other questions, comments? Please, so we're going to be running that competition with your picture, but obviously we have asking for your consent. Well, you are placing your picture on the website, so it's not us. You must please tag ISACA SA as well as the SheLeads Tech, because we are doing this as part of SheLeads Tech. Please do continue to post your pictures. We will open that until 5 today, and then we will announce on our social media who the winner is, and then the office will be in touch with you to make sure that we give you your prize. So are there any other questions on any of the topics that were discussed today, or any of the topics that are close to your heart? So if that's the case, I'm gonna, Eugene, it says that you're going to do lucky draws and the closing according to our agenda.
Hi, Gabo. Hello, everybody.
And then I'll give the closing remarks, yes.
Yeah, you did the lucky draws already during the course of the presentation, so that was done. Thank you. Okay, so we know Tumisho and Patrick, you can look out for your prizes, and whoever is drawn as the winner from the picks, we will then announce on our social media, and we will get your picture to you. So it is until today at 5 o'clock. I think let's go out. Let's take those pics. We're giving you time to go take a shower in case you haven't had time to do so. So don't worry, we won't rush you. So do take those pictures and share them with us. And remember, our theme today is stay positive and live a colorful life. So please do go out there and stay positive, but stay safe at the same time, because we want to make sure that all of us are still safe. The coronavirus is still pretty much part of our lives. It's not gone yet, so let's not forget that. We are hoping very soon we'll have our vaccines and we'll be able to live a new normal life, because we could never really have the old life. I just want to once again thank our speakers, Candice Jackson, Eileen Petersen, as well as Kholofelo, for sharing your thoughts with us. I know for Kholofelo, I think yourself and Kaylan, this was the first time presenting. I really appreciate that. And I really want to encourage every member of us, actually everyone, you don't have to be a member of ISACA to present. We do like you to please join ISACA. There is a lot that's going on.
we have recognized as the organization that we need to also move with the times. So there are a lot of qualifications that are now coming on board that ISACA has. So please do visit the ISACA website. Some of this, you no longer have to be a member of ISACA to, let me put my video on, sorry, I don't like talking to people and not being seen. So please go to the website and see which qualifications or designations you'd like to apply for. ISACA is introducing a lot of, it has introduced a lot of qualifications that you don't necessarily have to have been in the field for long to be able to write. So please visit the website. Membership is still open. Don't forget to renew your membership. And if you do have problems, as I indicated, please make sure that you log them with ISACA. I'm just going to go through those few announcements again just for the purpose of those who are not on, but it will be a quick one, so that we can just go through the most important things that are coming so that we don't miss anything. I once again want to thank each and every one of you for taking the morning out to join us. We are going to have our virtual conference. I think for those who attended our conference last year, you have to admit it was quite a lovely event, even though it was virtual. And this year, once again, we are forced to go virtual because the pandemic is still upon us. So please do register from the 7th to the 8th of June, 2021. Please make sure that you are part of this lovely event. And before I forget, actually, for those of you who might not know, we do have a new office manager, Lizanne Human, and it was her birthday this week. So happy birthday, Lizanne, as well as our own President Aline. So happy birthday. We have some pre and post conference workshops. Please do make sure that you also register for those if you want to be to attend. We've got the Rpa auditing workshop, which is on the 4th of June, and then from the 9th to the 10th of June, we have the COVID-19 Foundation course. I personally attended that last year and it was quite informative. I think for those who know Tish, he's a very active presenter, so I'm sure you will enjoy that presentation. We are also looking for sponsors. We obviously can't do this without the support of our community. So if your organization or yourself are in a position to sponsor, being a virtual event, it's quite within reach. So please do contact the office, info@isaca.org.za. Then we will give you the information on all the sponsorships. We do have an important message from ISACA Global. We have had a backlog of addressing customer queries. I think there's been great progress in the past few days. I personally have experienced some problems, and once I logged a call, it was quickly resolved. So please don't contact membership or certification. As these are no longer monitored, you need to please, all your questions, direct them to the support.isaca.org. And you don't need to log many tickets, just log one ticket with all the issues that you have so that they can expedite the process of resolving them. So membership renewals are still open. Please don't forget that. If you think you had missed your membership renewal, or if you want to join ISACA, you still have an opportunity. Please do go to the website, or you can email us if you are having problems. So the time is running out. So there was a 1 month extension, which ends at the end of this month. So please don't delay too long. And don't forget to also log your CPE points. After today's event, you will receive an email to confirm your CPE points. Please don't forget to log those. And we do have those two designations as the local chapter, which is the information systems audit professional, ISACA, or the information security management professional, which you can now apply for. They are still free, so please do submit your completed form together with supporting documentation. You do need to be either a CISA or a CISM as one of the requirements, but the application form will give you all the details that you need. There is a cybersecurity fundamentals update on the ISACA website. Please check that out. The exam is being updated and will become one of 5 stackable certificates for the change to the Information Technology Certified Associate certification. Like I said, there's a lot more certifications now that don't require maybe the prior experience and all that. So please go onto our ISACA website to see which of the fields you are interested in and what certification you can sit and write for and obtain. We do have our ISACA online shop in case you're wondering how you can, give your clients or your family members gifts so that they know what you do and this lovely organization that you're part of. So please visit our online shop and you can buy nice goodies. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of our day. I want to just once again thank each and every one of you for making it to this event. And I also want to thank our friends from Africa and Europe who have joined us today, or any other parts of the world where you are joining us from. We really appreciate you being part of this. I would like to wish everyone a good International Women's Month. Let's continue to celebrate the women in our life, support them, because when we know that if we have a happy mom or a happy woman in our life, the entire family becomes happy, including going on diets or going on exercises. Just follow, then you will be a very happy person. Otherwise, we are not. I always say, we're the oxygen of the family. So if you want there to be oxygen, then you must make sure that that we keep our women in our lives happy. Thank you very much, everyone. I am going to close off the event now. I don't know if anyone is brave enough to put your videos on just to say hello and bye-bye quickly. I think, Eugene, you can just open for everyone to be able to share so I can see the faces, because I seriously hate talking to these black screens. Okay. There is Ntabiseng. Ntabiseng, that's like a sneak preview of yourself. Nice. There's Andre from the office. Hi, Andre. Oh, Sitalimeti, you coming from Lesotho, right? Just wave. Okay. How do you pronounce your name? I don't know. Is it Bode? Kalimeti, ne? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. You're joining us from Lesotho?
No.
From where?
I'm in Kempton Park now.
Oh, you're in Kempton Park. Okay. You can be anywhere you want these days, eh? Anytime. And who do we have now? We've got Kulisani Shongwani. Hi, Kulisani.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. And how are you?
Good, good.
Where
good.
are you joining us from?
I'm from home. I'm in Midrand.
Are you in Midrand?
Yes.
Okay. And then we've got Rachel Chinyoka. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
I'm good, thank you. Where are you?
I'm in Durban, joining you from
Durban. Okay,
yeah.
All right. I'm glad to see that you are working. Durban people are always at the beach. Today. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Please forgive me.
My name is Bode Aro.
Bode Aro. Hi, Bode.
Yes,
how are you?
I'm fine. I'm from Ibadan chapter, Nigeria.
Oh, are you from
ISACA
Nigeria?
Chapter.
Okay. Kholofelo. Kholofelo, Hope.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
You're okay. Good. How are you? And then, oh, there's Esther. Hello, Esther. Esther is our previous office manager and has left us. Lovely to see you, Esther. Hi, Craig.
Nice to see everyone.
Yeah, lovely. Hi, Craig. How are you? And then we've got Mokhadi Mamabolo. That doesn't look like Mokhadi Mamabolo that I know. It's another Mokhadi Mamabolo. And then we've got Charlton Chikuza. Hi, Charlton. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. We had a nice presentations coming out from you guys.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining from Pretoria.
Are you from Pretoria? Lovely.
Yes.
Okay, Trudy Shabangu, how are you? Okay, we can you know this the nice thing with virtual reality is that now we can read lips.
Hi, Khabo.
Hi, Trudy. How are you?
I had a fun day.
Excellent.
Thank
This is
you
the
so
best way
much.
to start your Wednesday. And just right smack in the middle of the week, and you're thinking it's Monday, and suddenly tomorrow it's Thursday, and then the week is done.
Yes.
Okay. I see Joseph Gura. Hi. Okay, he's run away. All right. Who else is showing their screen? Okay. Maynard is not showing his face, but I see your lovely picture there, Maynard. Thank you so much. Andrea, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Romania. Really appreciate that.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Lovely. How are things there?
Good, quite good.
Okay.
Happy to work from home.
That's great.
As an IT auditor, we were supposed to be on site, but now it's perfect.
Excellent. Yeah, I always say, you know, for me, being in technology, especially for women, is the best space to be in because seriously, you can work from anywhere in the world. So I never in my years understood why women are shying away from technology, because in my world, it's one of the professions that has allowed me to be able to work from home and to be able to raise my kids when they needed me to be there. So please, let's embrace this. It's a lovely space to be in. And we know as women, we get bored very easily. So we want to change. So thank you very much, everyone. There's Pam Kosana. How are you?
Good day, I'm fine.
That's why I'm picking on you.
No, thank you. I'm good. Thank you very much. Those are best presentations ever.
Oh, you are most welcome. I also want to thank our board members. I know Kenneth. I see Kenneth. You're there. We've got Eileen was with us earlier, but she had to run quickly. We also have Dr. Cameron Modisan, who is our chair for the Pretoria committee. And who else? Robin is there. Who did I forget? Sorry, I'm just scrolling so I can see everyone. Bali, I see your lovely picture and smile. Hi. And Loaho Raburifi, lovely. Thank you very much, guys. Avin, good to see you. It's been long. Thank you so much, everyone. We are finishing earlier than anticipated, and that's how efficient we are as ladies. So that's why you see when you have ladies on your team, things will go on very smoothly. Leon Lucas, who handed? I haven't quite mastered the art of reading lips yet, Leon, but I promise I'll learn. We can't
Okay.
hear you. Yes. that's
Okay, now then my mic was on mute. I couldn't unmute it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How are
Okay.
you?
I'm fine, thanks. And yourself?
Where are you joining us from?
Now I'm joining you from Boksburg.
Ah, from Boksburg. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. Did you enjoy yourself?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to close the meeting now. Thank you, everyone. We are ahead of time, which gives you some time to go and have some lunch. And once again, thank you, Kholofelo, Makula, Kaylan, Petersen. I know it was your first day. You did brilliantly. I'm super proud of you, ladies. And I think you're going to be a great example to everyone. So please, like I said, talk to us if you want to be one of the speakers. We will be there to hold your hand and help you. This is one of the platforms that we give you to grow yourself from your career, as well as being able to present in front of people. I think as auditors, in any case, you still have to face your client and present. So this is a best place that you can practice all that. And you don't have a hostile auditee looking at you. So thank you very much. I am going to now close our day, and I wish you all well, and please stay safe and healthy, and join us for our upcoming presentations, please. Thank you.
Thank you, MC Khabo.
Okay.